Hello, and anyway, sorry about that. Hello, welcome to the post Monster Madness. Well, even though we do have, I did have a previous post Monster Madness, this is kind of the first real thing. So, what we're doing today is we are going to be ranking horror franchises, and we do have specific rules for this. These guys already know the rules, but I'm going to reiterate it for everyone here. And we're going to be talking about 13 different franchises. Obviously, they will come up when we talk about them, but time to get into the rules so that everyone is aware. So, in terms of movies for horror franchises, the franchises that will be discussed must have at least 2 direct sequels, or else it is not considered a franchise. For example, Black Christmas would not be a contender. Sorry, I can't talk today. Because despite technically being a franchise, it only has an original film and 2 remakes to its name. Cinematic universes may count depending, but we'll get there when we get there. Remakes are also considered, but not as much as sequels. They might be considered a bonus deciding factor at the very end if there is a tie between franchises. This discussion of each film must be under 5 minutes in order to keep the pace of the stream going properly. I will have an alarm on my phone to keep it steady. If the timer goes off, we must give it a proper score right then and there. Speaking of, the scores in question are simple: a thumbs up, a thumbs middle, and a thumbs down. I will keep track of them on my notepad because if we get into numbers and letters, it's just too much. If you have not seen a film, do not take part in the ranking. You will abscond for that movie since you cannot judge it as you have not seen it. If none of us have seen that movie, which hopefully is few and far between, we will go to the popular opinion, which in this case will be the score from Metacritic, because it's the least terrible out of all the review sites. Each franchise, by the end of each discussion, will be given a unanimous letter grade by everyone in the stream, purely on the grounds to rank it among other franchises. There must be some leeway in regards to some opinions in order to do this. So you might not necessarily totally agree with the letter grade, but it must be done in accordance to what I said before. If we cannot, I will make an executive decision. Now, so that's for the movies. For the TV shows, it's a case-by-case basis. TV shows are up in the air because more often than not, people have not watched them, are not considered canon, or even have nothing to do with the franchise. Example of a TV show that will not be considered at all is something like Friday the 13th, the series, because it has nothing to do with the franchise, with the exception of name, some of the crew, and the look of the logo. Example of a TV show that might be considered is something like Freddy's Nightmares, because Freddy is the narrator of the show, and the pilot episode was the origin for the character until the 6th movie came out. But we will get there when we get there. Example of a TV show that would be considered if people have seen it is something like The Exorcist, because that was considered canonical to the original 4-movie timeline. Extended media, none will be considered. If we get into every piece of extended media from each franchise, we would be here all day. Whether that be fan films, comics, short films, video games, audio dramas, etc., etc. So even great fan films like The Confession of Fred Krueger or video games like Fistful of Boomstick will not be considered at all purely for time. The mass quantity might be considered a deciding factor in a tie, but that case would be very unlikely. So after my very, very long explanations and rules, let's get into this. And we're just going to go in alphabetical order because that's what I have on my notepad. So the first franchise we will be talking about is, in fact, Alien. So everybody unmute yourselves. And of course, my vibration is on, so let's get rid of that. Okay, so the first film of Alien. It's one of the greatest horror films ever made. Like, everything about it is excellent. The suspense, the tension, the atmosphere. Ridley Scott managed to do everything right in terms of this franchise. What does everybody else think of Alien?
This is how you do a slow burn. What I love about Alien is a lot of the runtime is just dedicated to developing and showing up characters. Just very scary, very chilling. One of my favorite films. Absolutely love it.
Mark, Zach.
Easily, one of the best pure horror films of all time. Also, one of the best sci-fi films of all time. So, I mean, that blend of sci-fi and horror, it really works. Having this crew trapped on the ship, and they actually take the time to let you get to know the characters and know their personalities and their quirks and everything, and the dynamics between them and everything. So, before they ultimately just slaughter all of them. So, and it comes off as, especially the first time you watch it, almost a complete surprise who winds up being the one to survive.
Right. Yeah. It was definitely that's what really worked about it. That's what made it so good, is you didn't know. Because there's this meme that it's like, oh, Sigourney Weaver survives because she's a woman, because she's smart, and da-da-da. It's like, no, you just don't get it, bro. It's like, that's not what it is. But of course, hey, right, dude, how you doing?
Dude.
And our buddy Austin, our newest cool kid. But yeah, I think we can all agree, Alien, one of the greatest of all time.
Oh, what about Zach?
Oh, Zach. Well, you weren't discussing. Like, come on, you got to get into the conversation. We all got to be discussing.
Well, honestly, yeah, it's one of my favorite horror films too. I love how it takes the simple slasher formula, but does it in space. But the thing I love most about it is how what y'all said about Ripley is that they don't spotlight her as the main character. Everyone gets equal screen time and development, and just by pure circumstance and coincidence, she just happens to be the last one alive. So, and then for the rest of the franchise, she's the main character. And plus, I'll just end it by saying it has still one of the most chilling lines of dialogue I've ever heard in a movie. I can't lie to you about your chances, but you have my sympathies.
Such an awesome line, and I love the tagline of the movie too. In space, no one can hear you scream.
Fun fact.
There's an interesting fact about the chest burster scene. They did not tell them what was going to happen.
Yeah.
They did not.
That's
all
awesome.
Their reactions were real.
Yeah.
Overall, Alien is a total thumbs up for me. Classic.
Oh yeah, and the
That's
fun,
one of the most best horror scenes of all time.
All of us gives it a thumbs up.
Absolutely,
2 thumbs up.
Double thumbs up.
Even raise up my my foot pinkies if I could.
But yeah. But before we move on to its sequel, another fun fact about the tagline is "In space, no one can hear you scream." The guy who wrote that tagline also wrote the second greatest horror tagline of all time for The Thing. Man is the warmest place. That dude, like, he doesn't need to fucking work again. Dude created 2 of the greatest horror taglines of all time. Dude just walks in and like panties are dropping. Like, that dude doesn't need to do anything. But anyway, so we all agree Alien is an amazing film. Now we move on to Aliens. Well, yes, it's more sci-fi action than horror. It's still part of a horror franchise. It went so different, and even though there was a lot of turbulence behind the scenes with James Cameron not getting along with the English crew, they still managed to put out one of the greatest sequels of all time, which is considered by some to be even better, mainly because it is less horror, and horror isn't really beloved by, a lot of certain people because it's horror. Now, for a while, I loved Aliens more than Alien, but now I do love Alien more than Aliens, but Aliens is still excellent. What is everybody else's thoughts on Aliens?
Aliens is fucking phenomenal. That is how you do a sequel.
Yeah.
And again, just going back to the big part that made the first Alien so good. So much time is spent with these characters, and you love every single one of them.
You feel they've been friends for a long time.
Oh, absolutely. And Ripley is like PTSD and trauma, her distrust of like androids, that it works so well.
Yeah.
And let's not forget, there's the motherly bond with her and Newt. The aliens, they still look awesome. And come on, get away from her, you bitch.
Yes.
Perfect.
It's perfect.
Yep.
Mark?
James fucking Cameron, man. Jesus Christ. That's all I gotta say. The man has made two of the greatest sequels of all time, man. I mean, geez, he does what he does, man. And that's a pure James Cameron movie, you know. I mean, it's a lot of heart pumping action, you know, a lot of good solid character development, you know. You got a strong woman who has her own issues, you know, but she manages to overcome them, you know. Also a mother figure, you know, kind of like Sarah Connor. So,
Yeah.
But
And,
yeah, it's a very different film, and I love it for different reasons. Honestly,
Right.
I just choose between them. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a fantastic film, and I've always loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Aliens.
My mother loved it too. Yeah.
Yeah, Aliens. I think is like every bit as much as Alien. I think it's wonderful, perfect, 4 out of 4. I think the best thing about the film, honestly, is Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah. Although
you
Lance
learn
Henriksen
about-
and Hicks
You
are
learn
great.
about her dead
Mhm.
daughter in the movie, and the way that her bond with Newt ties into that
Yeah.
whole motherly figure thing. I love that. I think that's an aspect about the film that isn't looked at as much, because a lot of people look at the action and all that, but the emotional weight to the movie is what I gravitate towards more with the film.
Yeah. And it's a shame that can only be designated to the director's cut. But
Yeah.
and fun fact, I actually have not seen the director's cut in full. I
Oh.
own it, but I
have.
haven't seen it yet. I know. I need to see the director's cut, but
Yeah, and
Still.
I
honestly,
actually prefer the director's cut. Yeah, because I mean,
yeah,
And
most
honest-
people do because I've heard it's excellent.
because I mean, it really hurts her
It
character
is.
development. Because
It's
in the
fucking
director's cut, I don't know if you mind spoilers. So
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the movie, so like,
yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, they add the scene where she finds out that her daughter died, you know,
Yeah.
just before. So I mean,
she was in Alien
died.
Isolation. That's what that was about.
Mhm.
Yep.
She grew old and died when, you know, so while she was away. So I mean, she has that feeling of guilt, you know.
the only thing that I would say about Aliens is this is not a negative. This is, I always go back and forth which of the two I love more, Alien or Aliens. I'm still conflicted about that.
Right. But yeah. So I think Aliens, we can all agree, thumbs up.
4 out of 4, thumbs up.
Double thumbs up once again.
All right. So now this gets a little bit harder because now we're talking about Alien 3.
I'm out.
And that is a point of contention for a lot of people. Now, when it comes to Alien 3, I didn't know what to expect because a lot of people love it, a lot of people hate it, but I ended up adoring this movie. I think Alien 3 was the perfect ending to Ripley's story. Like, just the way it ends, the way the final moments on screen, it just works and it's brilliant. And I love it. I love how each film is so different from one another. Like, you have like the claustrophobia horror of the first one, then you have the sci-fi action of the second one, and then you just have like the gut-wrenching nihilism of the third movie. And even though David Fincher has hated the film for good reason,
Yep.
it matches up perfectly with the rest of his filmography. That dude is all about the death of the American dream and brokenness and nihilism. That it's no matter what he considered, even though he has since disowned it again for very good reason, it still feels like a David Fincher movie. Like, in the end, even though he was a hired gun, he still created an amazing movie, and I absolutely love it. So,
Haven't seen it.
what is everybody else's thoughts on it?
Man. Now look, the problem with Alien 3 isn't that it's unnecessary, because there's easily a way you could have made an amazing sequel to Aliens that expands on everything. My personal issue with Alien Alien 3, and that's pretty much the almost unanimous thing, is that the utterly disrespectful story and script. Now, like any movie ever, the people that enjoy it to your heart's content. I'm not the kind to a person to mock people's opinions, but it destroys Aliens. The whole arc of Ripley's motherly bond with Newt is destroyed because they kill them off. Did you need to do that? If you want to have this story where they're on this prison planet, whatever, sure, just have everyone else be alive. I feel like that would fix almost all the issues with the film. But
I mean, the thing is, Ripley needed to be alone. That was the whole point. She couldn't have that happiness. She needed to have everything ripped away from her, so that despite everything, she still became victorious. She still won, not with the alien, but with Weyland Yutani. Like that's like the whole basis of all of those movies. The alien wasn't just the threat; it was her trying. She was at first a pawn. Then she was trying to overcome it with aliens, trying to be more aware of what Weyland Yutani was, but still ended up becoming a pawn. But it was at the end of this, even though like she could have like lived on, there could have been something at the end of the rainbow, but she's like, no, I can't let these fucking guys win. I can't let these fuckers win. And you know what? She's like, I'd rather die than have you fuckers win. And which is done moot in the next movie, but we'll talk about that when we get there.
Like,
but yeah,
get all of that. Like, it's just like I said, people enjoy the film. That's cool, but I think it's right up there with Halloween Resurrection as one of the most disrespectful audience betrayals ever made.
I've kind of gone back and forth on them in the years. At first I would have agreed more with Zach, and for a long time I said the same thing. That it really ruined the ending of Aliens and everything, but I've kind of softened on it. I mean, it does have its good points, and you've actually made some really good arguments, John, over the years. So I've softened a bit on it. I won't say I like it. I won't say I think it's good, but I mean, I think it could have been great if they had let Fincher do what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
And given him a little more freedom, but you're right. I agree with you. It definitely fits with his filmography, that nihilism,
Yeah. But yeah, I think what would be the scores for everyone? For me, it would still be a thumbs up. So for Zach, it's thumbs down. Mark would thumb middle. Okay, that's fair.
Again, haven't seen it.
Yeah. So obviously you can't judge Devin. So anyway, so next up is Alien Resurrection. I watched this recently, and it fucking sucks. Like, I fucking hate this movie because pretty much, Zach, what pretty much you said about Alien 3, I think about for Alien Resurrection. It completely, totally ruined Ripley. It ripped apart what development she had. Her fucking over this fucking company. Her fucking over the alien. Her just finally winning in her death. They just undo all of that because some fucking crybabies were like, that was a shitty movie. So they had to make another one, which just so happens to be worse. Yes. Does it have Ron Perlman? Yes. Does it have nice thick booty to look at? Yes. I get it. It has Brad Dourif. It has a weird sort of fun vibe to the whole thing. But at the end of the day, for me, it still fucking sucks. I still can't get on board with it's so bad it's good. I'm sorry, I just can't. Like, I mean, I remember James Rolfe called it entertaining trash, and I guess that is for some people. For me, I just saw it as boring, and I saw it as laughable, but not in a good way. To me, it's just not entertaining, and it fucked over everything with Alien 3. So
that's exactly how I feel. It's entertaining trash. That film is fun as fuck for me. I watched a lot of film on repeat back in the day because it was just so much fun. It's honestly, it's just kind of the most fun of all in a way. Not that it's good. It's not. I mean, but I mean, it's Yeah, I agree. It's kind of the so bad it's good thing. It's just really funny, you know. So I mean, I didn't care that it was a stupid way they brought her back. I didn't care. I'm like, I don't care. This is a blast. Like Ripley's a badass. Her talking shit to Rod,
Honestly,
and like the scene where they're walking down the hall after she just killed one of them. He's like, "Hey, Ripley, isn't that thing like one of your own kind?" She's like, "It was in my way." So
I'm not
it's just
lying that I wouldn't say it like it doesn't have any fun moments. It still has some fun moments, but the problem is for me, even ignoring like what it did to fuck up the ending to Alien 3, it's like honestly, it's mostly boring. Like it's kind of just not interesting to me. I did watch the special edition, which I've heard is similar to what the first Alien is actually worse than the cut than the original cut, but like the director, I forget his name, I can't pronounce it. It's French. He's weird. He was like, yeah, I didn't really want to make this director's cut, but I was kind of forced to. So yeah, this is all I could come up with because the director's cut is the movie that was released in theaters. So he like had to for that big quadrilogy cut that I own. So you know,
Jean
like it's
yeah, for
who is it?
me, it's
Pierre Journet.
Jean-Pierre Jeunet. Yes,
Yeah.
pretty
honestly
much.
it's a thumbs down for me, and I think what John said about it kind of steered me towards that because on the one hand I was thinking of going because it has more of a fun tone. There are characters I like in it, like Ron Perlman, but like what you said, to Alien Three's credit, it did try to give Ripley this genuine heroic sacrifice so that the company
Right.
doesn't get this alien queen, and they just screw that over and the company gets more aliens anyway. So
Exactly.
this
That's
just working off of that setup, it does ruin Alien 3. I don't like that film, but again, it tried to give some kind of positive sacrifice for Ripley and they ruined that.
exactly.
So because of that, yeah, I'd give it a thumbs down.
Yeah, for me, it's thumbs down. Mark, what about you?
I mean, I give it a thumbs up, honestly, just because it's one of the things. So bad, it's good.
I mean, I
It's
would still say overall Alien 3 is the worst movie, but Resurrection isn't too far behind or too
Yep.
far up.
And I also did want to say we are skipping Alien versus Predator because that's kind of its own franchise.
Yeah.
Alien versus Predator is like its own mini franchise, and there's only 2 films, so that
Plus,
wouldn't count as a
think
franchise.
I don't think any of it is even in continuity with either the sides of like Alien or
Who the fuck knows with the continuity at this point? And at this point,
yeah,
I don't even fucking care. So
yeah.
we're just gonna move on to Prometheus. So
Yeah.
Prometheus, I wasn't even aware that this was an Alien movie until like 2 weeks before I saw the movie. So I think people were like, I wasn't as mad that this wasn't an Alien movie, alien movie that a lot of people, other people were upset at. Yes, it did give us that CinemaSins running joke. But honestly, like I thought it was fine. I mean, the acting was really good. It had some really cool horror scenes. It had some cool ideas, but it was honestly mostly forgettable. So I saw it when it first came out, and I have no desire to go back to it. So that's kind of it, in all honesty. So you guys continue.
Haven't seen it.
Prometheus. I liked it. You know, I thought it was fine. I mean, I didn't think it was great. I won't say it was as great as the the first 2, but I mean, I had fun with it. I thought it was pretty good. You know, it was uh, Michael Fassbender was great, of course, as David. You know, Numi Rapace was really good. You know, I mean, Jesus, the scene where she has the thing performing surgery on herself to get that, like, wow, get the thing out of her. That's pretty intense. But I mean, it's not great, but I mean, it's good. You know, I thought it was pretty good. I wasn't upset about it either. I mean, yeah, it's a little weird, but I mean, I'm like, well, I mean, this is like a prequel. This is way about how they came out in the first place. So I mean,
I
yeah,
like Prometheus. I like how, as a prequel, it approaches the idea of a prequel, like it not directly being so much an Alien prequel, more so just a film that in the same universe that just happens to take place before the events of Alien, if that
Right.
makes sense. So So I thought that was a unique approach to a prequel that I've never seen before. And I like that it introduces all these different new creatures that resemble what we know from the original with the xenomorphs and the facehuggers, but just doing something different. I thought that what's her name was a pretty good antagonist for the few scenes that she had, and Michael Fassbender is one of the best characters in the entire Alien franchise, in my opinion. Top 3 easily. So again, even though it's not a direct prequel to Alien, I still think it works as a sort of origin story as is.
Okay.
So it's a thumbs up for me.
Okay, so I would give it like a thumbs middle. Thumbs middle. I thought it was fine. And Mark, I assume that's what you'd give it to.
Yeah, it was fine. You know,
Okay, so finally, Alien Covenant. I haven't seen it.
I have.
I have to. I'd give that one a thumbs down because I mean it was just honestly just kind of boring. So I mean, it just didn't. It wasn't terrible, I don't think, but I mean, it just was not that good.
All right.
Yeah, Alien Covenant. This is in my top 3, up there with Alien and Aliens. For a movie that was pretty much forced to have that kind of studio compromise, half Prometheus, half classic Alien movie, I think the mix was done pretty well given the circumstances. I thought that the Prometheus side of the continuation was very intriguing and philosophical, and I thought it was very satisfying how they continued David's storyline.
Right.
And even if you could say the characters are very stupid for landing on that planet, so just going off to where they're supposed to, it provides the fun alien stuff that you want to, and I'm fine with the origins for the xenomorph. I still think they hold on to the fact that the xenomorph is still the perfect organism as described in the original film. So the gore is very satisfying, and I love the twist ending at the end. I didn't see that coming. So it's a thumbs up for me.
Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do, Devin, I know it's going to be a little harder for you since you haven't seen the majority of these movies, but let's try to give it a letter grade. Now, if I had to give these movies a letter grade, I'd probably give it an A minus because even though I don't like Alien Resurrection and haven't seen Alien Covenant, I think the first 3 movies are so excellent that triumphs it over the rest of them. Like those 3, that was like a perfect story. Obviously, the TV show and the new movie haven't come out yet, so we don't know. So, what would you guys have as a letter grade?
Alien and Alien. I've only seen Alien and Aliens. Those are the only ones I care to see. Both those 2 together, A plus.
For me, if it were just those 2, I'd say an A plus. I think some of the others kind of drag it down, because it's been a long time since they've had a real home run with this series. I mean, they're not terrible, I mean, like I said, I mean, I even thought Resurrection was dumb fun, but I mean, they haven't really reached that quality. So I'd give it like a B plus.
Okay, so Zach, what do you think?
I'd give it a B plus just because it would be a solid A because Alien, Prometheus, and Covenant are so good. But then 3 and Resurrection just taint Ripley's story, in my opinion. And apparently that's going to be a permanent taint because Sigourney Weaver doesn't want to come back.
Which
so
is
it'll
fair.
be a B. It'll be it's a B plus.
I'd give it some leeway and say B plus. I'll give it some leeway to do that because I haven't seen Covenant, so I would say the Alien franchise gets a B plus.
Because by the way, that is what my canon is. Just the first 2 plus Prometheus and Covenant. That's the series to me.
Okay. So since we're already half an hour in, and we have 12 more franchises to talk about, we're gonna try. Zach, you talk the most out of all of us. You get passionate. I'm not trying to shit on that.
Nah, it's all right.
But we're gonna try and be a lot quicker now. just like give a quick sentence and your letter and your score, and that's it, because I want to try and get through this as
Sure.
much as we can. So that, again, we're just trying to feel out this format. So we make mistakes. It's okay. So anyway, the next franchise we are going to be talking about is shorter, so that's good. It's the Conjuring films. Now, I'm not talking about the Conjuring verse, because the vast majority of us have not seen all of those movies. I've only seen the first two Conjuring movies. Devin has seen three. I think Zach, you've seen all of them, but even then, and I think Mark has seen some. So we're just gonna do the Conjuring trilogy. That's it. So Conjuring 1, 2, and The Devil You May Know, or whatever the hell that title was.
The
Devil
devil
May
made
Do It.
Yeah, Devil Made Me Do It, right. So yeah, first Conjuring movie. I thought it was pretty creepy. It does have some of those jump scares, but overall, I'd give it a thumbs up. Like, genuinely, I thought it was a really good movie. I was surprised.
I think the first Conjuring is great. It's good start to a franchise. A lot of them didn't get better than that one, but still thumbs up.
I think it's a solid
I-
horror. It's a lot of fun. Give it a thumbs up.
I like it. The Warrens are a great duo based off real people. The whole clap hide and seek thing, I think, is the creepiest scene in the movie, and it's got some good chills, some good scares. So yeah, it's a thumbs up.
All right, then Conjuring 2. I would say it's not as creepy as the first one, but it's more fun. Like, it's a very like fun movie, but in like a horror way. Like, it's definitely feels bigger budget, more action-y, kind of that kind of thing. But overall, it depending on what I would be in the mood for if I were to ever rewatch these. I would say it's as good as the first, maybe even a little bit better, depending on what you're looking for. I would also say that's a thumbs up.
It's
Conjuring 2, not as great as the first movie, but still good. Thumbs up.
yeah,
I think it's
overall.
I think it's better. I say it's I love it. It's my favorite one out of the three. So yeah. Very-
Overall, oh shoot. Overall, I'd say even though I still like the first one more overall. The Nun is a scarier villain in the second film.
Interesting.
And that's pretty much what defines the Conjuring 2 is that freaking character.
Right.
And sadly, the character has not been scary since. So Yeah.
Oopsies.
Although
yeah,
she was pretty,
I'll give Conjuring 2 a thumbs up. I like the first one more, but I do think the Nun is a scarier character.
I always thought the Nun was pretty lame.
I do think she was good in Annabelle Creation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then Conjuring 3. Oh, well. Looks like Rob is with you there, Mark. But yeah, I would say it's more fun. But yeah, I have not seen Conjuring 3, so I don't know and I can't judge.
It's my least favorite of the three, but I didn't like it initially, but I've warmed to its sense. It's fine. Like, I know nothing about any of these real life cases that some of these
Right.
movies are based off of. And apparently they changed a thing or two for this film, but I think it was fine, The weakest of the three, but it was fine. That's all I can say.
It's just okay. Pretty forgettable. I'd say thumb sideways.
Like it's watchable enough.
It's really the weakest of the three. It's not bad. It's fine. It's just kind of
So how would you rate this franchise? I would rate it like a solid B. Like they're good movies, but not amazing. They're not Alien levels.
no.
I would say that's a solid B.
Even if the third film is just fine, I would give it an A overall because 1 and 2 are so good.
Okay. But Devin, what about you?
With you, I'd give it a B.
So let's give it some leeway and say B plus. I think
Yeah.
Zach, would you be willing to get? Okay, let's go with
Sure.
B plus.
Yeah.
I didn't get. I was going to say B also, but I mean, yeah, if you guys want to say B.
No, you said you agreed with me but we're trying to give leeway to certain people, so that's what I'm like, just so we like rate it among franchises and all of that. So Yeah, I know you said B. You said I agree. So I knew it was B, 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 and then A.
Yeah.
But anyway, so let's move on to the Dead franchise. George Romero's Dead franchise. We are only counting the movies he directed and their remakes. So Night, Dawn, Dead, Land, Diary, and Survival. And then those accompanying remakes, the direct remakes, Night of the Living Dead by Savini, Dawn of the Dead by Snyder, and Day of the Dead by whoever the fuck made that shit.
Steve Miner, who directed Friday the 13th.
Okay, yeah, fucking pleb. Anyway, so we're not going to count the 10 cajillion different Night of the Living Dead remakes and sequels and spin-offs because there's like 400 of those. We're not going to count those because that's just too many. So Night of the Living Dead, has aged not great because a little cheesy, a little awkward at points, a little wooden. But with what it did, like, I respect it more than I like it. So with that, I give it a thumbs up.
Night of the Living Dead. I think Night of the Living Dead is great. I guess the only thing that didn't really work for me was the character of Barbara, which is something I think the remake did better, but still a great movie. Along with the other two, some of my favorite movies. Definitely a big thumbs up.
Night of the Living Dead, I still think holds up really well. Like, maybe you could say the acting is a bit cheesy in spots. I actually think that the atmosphere and the scares still genuinely hold up really well. This is a scary fucking movie. Even though we'll get into it later with the remake. This movie holds up really well. It started the modern zombie that we know today, and it still deserves all the credit. So it's a thumbs up.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely a big thumbs up for me. I still think it's a great film. I mean the scene it's beautifully shot. It's the scene. Tony Todd is not Tony Todd, but Dwayne Jones is great as Ben. In the scene
ahead a little bit there, Mark.
What?
You're jumping ahead a little bit there, Mark. We're going to talk about it eventually. Don't worry.
Sorry. But
you're good. I'm just joking.
Yeah, sorry. Dwayne Jones is great as Ben. The scene at the end where he gets shot by the cops instead of the zombie is actually a very nice, subtle piece of one of my favorite subtle pieces of social commentary in a horror film.
Yeah, back when shit was subtle.
Yeah, I mean it's really fantastic. So, but yeah, big thumbs up for me.
All right. Dawn of the Dead, arguably better than the first. One of the greatest zombie sequels of all time. Big old thumbs up, definitely. Again, continuing the social commentary, not quite as much as racism, but more about consumerism. And it still works. And yeah, as I said, big old thumbs up.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely phenomenal. I love Dawn of the Dead. Love the commentary, love the characters. Better than Night of the Living Dead. Double thumbs up.
It's a thumbs up for me, for sure. But it's actually interesting because the way I'll talk about Dawn of the Dead may be in context to a version you guys may have never seen, which is a full 2.5 hour extended cut, just fully uncut version. It's called the Extended Mall Hours cut. It's on YouTube. So that's the only version I've ever seen. So there may be scenes I talk about that you guys may not know depending on what version you've watched, but yeah, it's a great movie. The gore is better, the acting is better, the characters, except for maybe Ben in the original, are better. And yeah, it's the best of the trilogy in my opinion. And if it wasn't for another one on this list that we're going to be talking about, it would be my favorite zombie movie. So 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, fantastic film. Yeah, I agree. It's better than the first. I think the color really allowed for the effects. From legendary effects artist Tom Savini to really shine through. I mean, the scene where the guy's being torn to pieces.
Ken Foree, right, dude? Ken Foree.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's fantastic, man. Yeah. Really, really great film.
Then Day of the Dead is my personal favorite of the original three. I thought it was fantastic. I thought the social commentary was arguably at its best. Tom Savini's effects were at its best. The characters were at their best. Because congratulations, Romero, you finally made a 3-dimensional female character. Congratulations, you did it. You did it with Day of the Dead. So with that, I gotta give Day of the Dead the biggest old thumbs up I can possibly give. I absolutely love Day of the Dead, and I think it's definitely the best Western zombie movie ever made, because I still think that the greatest zombie film of all time is Train to Busan, but that's just me. But Day of the Dead is excellent in my opinion, and the best of the three.
Absolutely agree with everything he said. Even though Dawn of the Dead is my personal favorite, I still fucking love this movie. Double thumbs up.
What he said, it's not my favorite. Dawn of the Dead is still my favorite, like my particularly challenged brother up here. Dawn of the Dead is still my favorite, but Day of the Dead is really fantastic.
Mm-hmm. The gore, the practical effects is easily at its best and most plentiful in this film. And Colonel Rhodes,
Colonel Rhodes.
I actually think is the most interesting character in the movie.
Oh yeah, he's great.
And like he just livens up the whole film. Like the way he dies at the end is fucking great. And it's just I like the concept of kind of giving humanity back to the zombies and all that. With the one zombie, Bub, I think his name was.
Bub, yeah.
So yeah, it's a great sequel that expands the zombie lore in very interesting ways. So thumbs up.
Okay. So now next up is Land of the Dead. I just recently watched this movie. It's fine. The commentary is really on the nose. The pacing is haphazard. The editing is weird. I would say John Leguizamo is always fun. Dennis Hopper is always great, but yeah, it's fine. Like it's enjoyable, but without like the charm that like Dawn of the Dead had. So it's okay. I'd give it like a thumb middle.
It's a thumbs up for me. Like this is in my top 3. If we're just talking about the original Romero 6, it's in my top 3 because I think it very satisfyingly expands on that one idea I was just talking about in Dawn of the Dead of giving humanity sort of back to the zombies, and we see that fully explored here, and I think it was done very well. So the human characters may be cardboard, but what can you do sometimes? So
Yeah.
It's a thumbs up for me.
I do like the zombie subplot. I felt that was interesting.
Yeah.
I liked it. I'd give it a thumbs up. I mean, maybe not as enthusiastic a thumbs up as the first 3, but I mean, to me, it takes it to a logical place because Day of the Dead had already posed the question. Maybe the humans are just as bad as the zombies, if not worse. So to me, it made kind of sense to take the franchise to that kind of place, to make the commentary about, social classes and everything. So.
Okay. Okay, next up is Diary of the Dead. For the next 2, I haven't seen them and I don't plan on seeing them because I've heard they're terrible.
This is my least favorite out of all of them. Remakes included that we're going to talk about. This is my least favorite one. Like there's some parts where it feels like the continuity is off because I think they're implying that this takes place more in modern day, and yet they're also showing an origin for the zombies, which if this is supposed to be in continuity with all the other films, which we saw, Night of the Living Dead started in 1968, so that's a huge plot hole right there. And the characters are boring and flat as bread. The gore is almost non-existent, and it's just the freaking found footage aspect is almost every bit as bad as it was in Halloween Resurrection. So, thumbs down. It breaks me heart to have to talk bad about anything that George Romero made, but
yeah,
I guess I have to call this a guilty pleasure because I actually liked it. Because I mean, I love the found footage aspect. What he did with it to me was, he's using it to criticize our addiction to technology, how it kind of distances ourselves from what's actually going on. You know, how you can actually film horrible things when we should barely be helping. You know, so I mean, like the guys sitting there filming all these people. You know, they get sick of them by the end. You know, filming all these deaths, sick of by the end. You know, so I mean, that part I kind of liked. You know,
I guess that's fair. Still having that bit of commentary there.
My least enthusiastic thumbs up, maybe, but I mean, I kind of liked it.
Okay,
fair.
Guilty. I guess I had called it guilty pleasure.
No, that's fine.
I guess maybe I'd actually say more thumbs middle because I guess okay, that's a good point there with the commentary. So I'll give thumbs middle.
I didn't mind the continuity thing because I just took it as its own thing. I just took it as, you know, this is its own thing. So
yeah. So Survival of the Dead, again, I haven't seen it, and Devin, I'm gonna assume you haven't seen it, so it's up to you two again to decide this one.
I like this film quite a fair bit. I'll let Mark go first.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think I've seen this one. Honestly, I just cannot remember it. Really, I mean, looking at the summary, I think I remember it. Jesus, I just cannot remember it to save my life. I have it.
Been a little bit.
With that, I'm gonna say no. You haven't seen it because if you don't remember it, then pointless. Exactly. So, Zach,
it's been a little bit since I've seen it, but I do remember enough. And yeah, it's a good movie. A certain improvement on friggin' Diary of the Dead. I like. It's kind of like how Day of the Dead and Land of the Dead explore the zombies and what they do in this. They show how it expands on how the zombies will eat anything now, not just humans. And you have this whole kind of rivalry between two families. And it kind of ends on a cool note with how they're the two villains of the film are zombies, but they're still trying to freaking shoot each other at the end. So it's it's a thumbs middle.
Okay.
The hat.
Now we get to Zach's favorite. Now we're talking about Night of the Living Dead remake. Try to keep it short, Zach, because again, look at the time. We don't have tons of time for this. So
it's right. I already know what I'm gonna say, so it's cool.
So this is one of those movies I would have initially given it a thumbs middle, but the more I think about it, the more I like it, and I might even prefer it. I prefer a lot of aspects to the original, but honestly, now that I think about it more and more, I might give it I might prefer it more than the original, and with that I give it a thumbs up. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was great. As Mark said, even though he hasn't seen it, Tony Todd is excellent. He had really, really big shoes to fill, and he filled them more so than one could think. Patricia Tallman, I think her name was, definitely a better Barbara. The guy who plays Harry is a bigger scuzzbag than you could possibly think. It just everything about it works, arguably more than the original. And even though Tom Savini had a lot of problems, he still created a great movie.
Oh yeah, like certainly, like for a movie that, especially if you know the background, that you know there's a movie that got cut down a lot and had a lot of studio interference. Watching the movie as is, it doesn't come off that way at all. I think everything about this is better than the original. The scares are better, the zombies are better, the atmosphere is better, the characters are better, or at least the way they portray the characters, and the way that it kind of manipulates your expectations because you've seen the original. You think it's going to go the way it does in the original, but then it does something different. I love that. And this is just the scariest film I've ever seen too. Like, I won't go too deep into it, but yeah, it's just certain shots with the zombies and all that. It's just, this film gives me nightmares. But I absolutely love it. It's my favorite zombie film ever. So 2 thumbs up.
So Mark, you haven't seen it at all. Devin, have you seen Night of the Living Dead?
I have. Really says something. Even though there was a lot of studio meddling, it still came out good. I like how they took Barbara from a weak, like whiny character, and they made her a badass. Tony Todd is awesome. Tom Savini's gore effects are awesome. Like, yeah, thumbs up. Damn good remake.
Yep. And honestly, the lack of gore actually
it makes it more about atmosphere. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, so next up is Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead. I much like how Night of the Living Tom Savini's Night of the Living Dead gets better the more I think about it. Dawn of the Dead, the more I think about it, the worse it gets. I just don't really like this movie. All the characters are really annoying. It barely resembles the original film. I thought the cinematography was kind of shaky and like very like saturated and not like appealing to look at. I mean, Ving Rhames is always great. And Weber was good. He was fine. The main girl is kind of bland. Then you had the annoying bitch who fucking pretty much like was the cause of the entire climax because she, oh, you can't, you have to rescue the dog. Just fucking die, please, for the love of God, fucking die. Well, they do. That's the ending. So it's like, okay, so like all these characters you get through, even the ones you don't like, all this stuff. Oh yeah, they die anyway. Go fuck yourself. And it's like, okay, then why? Then what the fuck is the fucking point of this shit? So it's like the movie sucks, and on top of that, all these characters die. So it's like, go suck a dick. Thumbs down.
Honestly, it surprises me how well they're able to have a runtime that's almost half the length of the original, but have more characters, but still do it pretty well. It lacks the commentary of the original, but the characters are still interesting enough, and I do think these zombies are intimidating. So I think it evens out just enough for me. So I'd give it a thumbs up. It's not better than the original, but no remake actually has to be better than the original to be good. So yeah, it's a
I
good movie.
honestly don't think he was trying to be better than the original. I think he was just trying to do his own thing. I think he made it a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with it. So, I mean, I had a blast with it. It's a lot of fun. So, I'll give it a thumbs up.
I've seen it once. I remember really enjoying it. I'd say maybe I'll watch it again. I don't know, but then again, I do love the original so much. But
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I'd say a light thumbs up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I do have to mention that this is the only time that I have given an exception to and have been intimidated by running zombies. Usually, I hate running zombies.
Yeah, running zombies can be done well if like done properly, but it depends. It always depends.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, this is the one time where I actually thought they did it pretty well. So,
All right. So lastly is Day of the Dead.
I'm
I
out.
haven't seen it.
Haven't seen it.
Zach, it's all up to you.
It's one of those kinds of remakes where it's pretty much just by title alone. Because that's the weird thing with all these remakes. Because initially the original films were all a connected story. Well, mostly, even though different characters and all that. But each film has its own setup of their own version of the zombie apocalypse. So when you get to Day of the Dead, it's a remake of Part 3, but of nothing. Like freaking Maniacal Cinephile states in his review. So, and the zombies look freaking terrible. You have a freaking scene where one of them crawls up the wall, and you have a vegetarian zombie who has a crush on the female main character. Or like when he was alive, the human before he turned into a zombie is like, this is supposed to be the Bub character.
Yeah,
sort
I
of.
do know that Bub is like this weakling little sniveling sack of shit. Because I think I saw Maniacal Cinephile's review of it. It's
Yeah.
from what I know of it, it's so bad. I can't technically judge the entire movie,
The only thing I can really say is that the gore is good when it's not overly CG, but that's about it. I hate this movie. And plus, they
All right.
kill freaking Ving Rhames in the most disrespectful way, so fuck this thing.
yeah.
Thumbs down.
All right, so letter grade. I'm pretty much just going off the first 4 movies and 2 of the remakes, but I think it's a very well done franchise for the most part, mainly the first 4 Romero movies and Night of the Living Dead. I would give it like I would give it a B. I would give it a solid B. Devin, what about you?
I'd say because I love Night, Dawn, and Day. I enjoyed the remake of And I like the remake of Night. I enjoyed the remake of Day. I'd say, I enjoyed the remake of Dawn. I'd say, I'd give it an A.
Okay.
A- for me. Just
Okay.
because even the ones that I don't like, I don't hate.
Outside of Day.
Except for Day of the Dead remake. So overall, it's an A- because a lot of these are my favorite horror films.
Okay. Mark, what about you?
B. I'm with you. Solid B. You know, the first great.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first three are great. The first three are great. Um, the rest kind of fall off from there. But I mean, um,
Okay.
the first,
Would you two who gave it an A, would you be willing to give it a B?
Sure, I guess.
Yep.
It's still a positive grade, yeah.
Okay. So we'll give it a B.
And just not like a whole discussion, but are we excited for Twilight of the Dead? By the way, now that
I'm
that's going to
curious about it. I'm curious about it.
Yeah, I'm excited because they're saying it's going to end the Romero story. So yeah.
All right. So next is the Evil Dead. Evil Dead 1, 2, and even 3. They're all thumbs up for me. They're all great. Like the first one I love the most. That just like pinnacle filmmaking, independent filmmaking. I still stand by that the Evil Dead, the original Evil Dead, is the greatest achievement in independent filmmaking because of what Sam Raimi, Rob Tapert, and Bruce Campbell and everyone managed to do with that. But even then, the movie has so much charm to it, and it's just like it was the little movie that could, and it like amazed the world, and that's just really awesome to me. So thumbs up for that. Evil Dead 2, one of the greatest horror comedies of all time, even though I do kind of hate how people suck its dick constantly. There's a reason for it. It's still amazing. So, Army of Darkness, weakest of the three, obviously, but still a fun time. Still a really fun time. So yeah. So I just wanted a quick thoughts on the trilogy. I mean, all of them are great. So
I love all three. I love all three of these movies from start to finish.
Yeah.
Army of Darkness, man, that movie is so fucking funny.
Oh yeah.
Like that's easily the most quotable
Yeah.
of all the movies, and that one has my favorite version of Ash, like this lovable asshole moron.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah, all three. Like third one is my favorite because here's the thing.
Perfect.
I'm a casual Evil Dead fan, but I love Army of Darkness, and I certainly do give credit to the other two, especially the original. What John said, it was independently made, but it's stood the test of time. And are we talking about the other ones, by the way?
we are. I just want to quickly talk about the trilogy because that's kind of just grouped into one
Oh,
thing.
yeah, sure.
We pretty much all agree that they're amazing.
Yeah,
So.
there are. Yeah, just context to the trilogy. Then, yep. Even though I'm a casual fan, it's a total thumbs up. It's like up there with Scream as one of the most consistent in quality.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huge thumbs up to all three for me. I mean, Jesus, they're I think I gave all of them 5 stars on Letterboxd.
Same here.
Seriously, I mean,
Total thumbs up.
the first one, like John said, is probably the greatest achievement in independent filmmaking, given the extreme obstacles they faced. The second one is, I think, the perfect blend of horror and comedy. And the third one, the comedy, and the third one is peak Ash. I mean, Ash is just Bruce Campbell is just at his finest in that movie. And that
London Bridge is falling down.
Kevin,
My fair lady.
oh
Kevin,
man,
up to the king, baby.
yeah, he's fantastic. He's so. I mean, yeah, 2 very, very big thumbs up for me. Love those 3 films.
Yeah.
Yep. Easily.
I'm bad Ash, and you're good Ash. You're dirty little toe shoes.
All right. Now, unfortunately, we have to stop this positive brain train going. Talk about the remake. It fucking sucks.
Haven't
Fuck
seen
this
it.
movie.
I like the remake.
I do too. Like it's not better than the original, but it's good. I
It's
like
trying. It's one of those movies that's trying too hard, but not trying hard enough. It sucks.
Like, would it be freaking sacrilege to say that I think this is the goriest one.
I mean, yeah, it's gory. It doesn't make it good.
Oh yeah, I just talked about the gore too. Like the gore is freaking brutal as, and I like the one chick's arc of not only overcoming the drug addiction, but now all this
She
shit.
was the only like semi-interesting part of the movie.
Yeah.
Wait, Devin, what would be your rating?
On the remake,
Yeah.
yeah, I gave it a thumbs up. I like the
Mhm.
remake.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
thumbs up for me too. It might be my favorite one, but then again, I'd have to rewatch all of them because yeah. I'm getting Phantom Zone later, aren't I?
I know. I haven't seen the remake, so I'll have to do that.
Good
All
good
right.
on you, Mark.
The most recent one.
All right. So, has anybody here seen Ash versus the Evil Dead?
Thumbs
I-
up.
I have not.
Thumbs
So
up.
good.
Thumbs
I want-
up, Zach. I don't think this would be for you because it ends on a cliffhanger. I do apologize.
Yeah,
So
'cause
you should
I
probably
had
stay
heard that
with-
it was canceled and that there wasn't an ending. That there's permanently now. It's like Ash's story is just permanently not getting an ending now, so that
Yeah,
kind of frustrates me.
that kind of sucked, but
Yeah, because
outside
the
of
thing
that,
is,
everything
because
else
the
is
thing
amazing.
I do want to watch the show because everyone tells me it's good, and I believe them.
But I
'cause
but I
think
know
it's
how much
good.
you hate cliffhangers, so I would say just not watch it because I know you're gonna get really mad at it. So at the fact it doesn't end properly, so I would say just stay away because I know how you get with endings that don't have.
Yeah,
Now,
but
what
again, I
about
have heard it's good, so I do believe people when they say it's good.
the latest one?
Evil Dead Rise, perfect, almost perfect in every sense of the word.
Awesome.
Not better, not worse than Talk to Me, Rob. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
What I love about this film is that they
Evil
have
Dead
not
Rise
lost.
it gets Evil Dead as a franchise.
It
It
really
got
does.
what made the
And
first
plus,
one
it
great,
just
and it expanded upon it properly. It had balls. It was proper. Even the CGI blood looked
Mhm.
good. Like
Oh,
that
God,
was
yeah.
surprising.
like
Yeah,
what I
it felt
love
like
is
Evil
how-
Dead. It really did.
Yeah, like what I love so much about it is just they have not lost the tone at all. Like nothing about it feels neutered just to pander to modern sensitive audiences. Like they give
Yeah.
no fucks.
I
And
mean,
I
just
love
like
it.
Blue Beetle,
Exactly.
it was supposed to be direct to streaming, but they're like, "Nah, this is fucking great. We got to
This
give
is
this a
good.
theatrical release."
Like I'm
Yeah,
glad
I
I saw
love-
this in the theater.
I loved this movie. I loved this movie from beginning to end. It was so much fun. It was just like perfect representation, perfect continuation of what this franchise is supposed
Lee
to be.
Cronin.
Care
Like
about the
I can't
characters.
wait to what
Love,
you
you know, I
have.
loved the characters. I loved the gore. I loved how relentlessly cruel and mean the Deadites
Oh, yeah.
were.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
fucking amazing.
Yes.
So with that, we all love this franchise to death, and even though I don't like the remake, the rest of the movies and shows are so good. I got to give it an A plus. I'm sorry, A plus. It's
A
just
plus.
it's
A+.
just
I'm a
like
casual. Like I'm a
too
casual
perfect.
Evil Dead fan, but I do find myself loving over half of this franchise. I mean, I like all of them, but I love over half of them. So yeah, I'd give it a solid A. Yeah, there has not been a single bad thing. Yeah, like even Ash vs Evil Dead, which I haven't seen, I know it's actually not bad, so I could say that too. So
But if there's not a single bad one, why would you still give it an A and not an A plus?
Yes.
it's just like I said, I'm a casual Evil Dead fan.
That
mostly.
doesn't matter if you. Well, I'm giving it an A plus anyway. So
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
I guess yeah, A
All plus
minus. Yeah,
outweigh
well,
your lack of plus.
anyway,
A minus. Yeah, I'll bump it up. It is a
All
really
right.
good.
Next one is going to be real interesting. Keep your thoughts in your pants for a lot of these gentlemen. Exorcist.
Mm.
So, in terms of bad and good, keep a lot of your thoughts in your pants. We already did a live stream on this, so calm down. So, with this Exorcist, I have slowly, kind of, maybe, sort of come around to it. I still don't love it. I would have to rewatch it, but from what I remember of watching it, give it a middle.
I don't love The Exorcist, but I do really like it. Like there are two things that have made me come to respect it a lot more, and that is getting to see it in theaters for the 50th anniversary, and then the new film coming out, which the quality that it was just made me respect the original a lot more. But there are things I love in it. I love Chris McNeil's character. I love the one dude's arc about losing his faith, but slowly trying to regain it. Like that's actually the heart of the movie. But people talk more about Reagan and all that. But his arc is the heart of the movie. Make no mistake. So there are things I love about this movie. So again, like I would say that I would say that I do really like this movie. It is a solid thumbs up. I don't
I
yeah.
sorry.
No, I was gonna say
I
like, I totally get the legacy for it.
I have always adored The First Exorcist. It's one of my favorite movies, quite possibly like one of my favorite horror films, like in my top 5. Like still holds up in every way. Yes, people can say it's unintentionally hilarious, and while it's not the scariest movie of all time, the scary moments still hold up.
Exactly.
I still get fucking scared when I see her spider walk down the stairs. Love
Ooh.
the story, love the characters, the dialogue, and I love how the movie, it's called The Exorcist because it's about Father Karras losing his faith and having to get it back again just to save this little girl's life.
Thank you.
And also one of the best book to movie adaptations,
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
perfectly captured the book. But then again, it was written by the screenplay was written by the author.
And plus,
And-
once again, R.I.P. to William Friedkin.
Yes. I just wanted, I was just going to say, it's fan fucking tastic adaptation. And I love it for a different reason. First edition. God, and, I love it for a different reason. Now, when I was a kid, obviously, scary, I mean, hey, oh my God, it's like she's really possessed by the devil, so I mean, but now I appreciate it for a different reason because, like you say, the character development for, Father Karras, or Jason Miller's character, Father Karras, is fantastic. That is what makes this film work, and that is what every single other Exorcist type film has been missing. I'm not talking about the sequels. I'm talking about any other kind of exorcism film. They're all demon possession film. They're all missing that. That's what they're missing. They're trying to focus on the scares and stuff, trying to make it scary as possible. They're missing the character development. And that's what makes this so great. So yeah, huge thumbs up.
Ditto.
Might be my favorite horror film of all time.
That and I know that and Halloween kind of you go back and forth between those two, right, Mark?
Yeah, that, Halloween, The Shining, and Psycho.
Okay. Okay. Unfortunately, we have Exorcist 2 to talk about. Who's seen this one?
I know it's shit.
I haven't.
I've seen it a long time ago.
Devin, you're the only one. Yeah, knew that was coming.
Made by someone who clearly doesn't like the original, and it shows.
Yep.
Like James Earl Jones dressed as a locust and spitting out a tomato and roaring and turning into a leopard.
Yeah.
Enough said.
Anyway,
fuck this movie.
Let's move on to greatness again. Exorcist 3, one of my favorite horror films of all time. Adore it to pieces. It's got Fabio. That's just, you should know the quality right there.
I can't believe it's not butter.
Anyway.
Okay, I'm guessing commercials. The only one old enough commercials.
I do really like Exorcist 3. I do. Especially all the scenes with Brad Dourif. Like, he is just incredible as the Gemini killer. No, I don't love it more than the original.
That's fair.
Still, thumbs up, and it has probably possibly the best jump scare in a movie. Like, holy shit, when I first watched that movie, that got me.
Yeah. Mark.
Damn.
That gets me every time I watch it. Like, oof.
Yeah, one of the great, definitely one of the great jump scares of all time. But yeah, it's fantastic. It's really fantastic. I'm really glad John turned me on to that. I finally watched it. I remember all the hubbub about that. I mean, and how there was a lot of articles about it in Time and stuff about the making and everything. It seemed really weird.
There was a lot of studio interference.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, but I
And it was
mean,
sorry to cut you off, Mark, but it was pretty much like this is called an Exorcist movie. We want an Exorcist movie. And when Peter Blatty's like, okay, you want a fucking exorcism scene? I'll give you a fucking exorcism
oh hell
scene.
yeah, he did.
And,
Jesus Christ.
and
Yeah.
even though it's ridiculous, I love that ending. I don't care what anybody
I do.
says.
Yeah.
I still need to watch Legion. I haven't seen the director's cut, which was made posthumously. But I'm curious of how Legion and that differs. I know the ending of Legion, and it's just like so like basic, not bad. It's just like I'm just curious about it. So
Yeah, I thought this was based on Legion, the book.
yeah, it is based on Legion
Okay.
because that's what originally was supposed to be called. But Morgan Creek was like, no, we want an Exorcist movie,
Yeah,
and he's like, fine.
but I mean, I think aside from that, the fact that William Peter Blatty wrote it and directed it, I mean, yeah, George C. Scott, Brad Dourif, there was just way too much fucking talent on this film.
Oh yeah,
I mean, they did
easily.
such a good job. And plus, it has that character development, like the first one. I mean, and that's what makes it so interesting.
Right.
Exactly.
So anyway, now going back downhill, depending on who we ask. So we're going to talk about both versions of. Oh, sorry, I thought you said Exorcist 3. So Zach, your thoughts?
But
on Exorcist
Exorcist 3, the only other good one, at least in my opinion. It has the character focus that the original has, and Brad Dourif is great, and again, an awesome jump scare. And even if they kind of force in an Exorcist scene and they change what the movie was supposed to be, I like it. Again, I like that it keeps the character focused side of things that the original had. So it's
right.
Yeah, it's a thumbs up.
Awesome. So we're going to talk about both versions, the Paul Schrader version and the Rennie Harlin version of the prequel. First, with Exorcist: The Beginning, since that came out first. Has anybody seen it?
I have not.
I have. I watched them both because I was catching up on all the other Exorcist films, except for the second one for when that new one was coming out.
Thoughts?
Neither is good, but I think I like the Rennie Harlin version just a bit more. I'd have to maybe watch them again to like definitively say which one I think is better. But neither, at least first impression, I think is very good. So it's thumbs middle at least for now until I can watch them.
Okay,
more.
that's fair. And yeah, neither and then anybody here hasn't seen the Paul Schrader version either, correct? Except for Zach.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll just do a middle for that one.
Yeah.
Has anybody seen The Exorcist show?
Nope.
I have not. I know Rome has, but
Rome.
I've seen Dominion.
Oh, you've seen Dominion. Okay.
I saw it once when I was little. Wasn't very impressed by it. Very little. So thumbs down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So The Exorcist show, since TV shows are a case-by-case basis, we just won't count that one.
Yeah.
Plus,
it's not a movie, so it's not terribly important. But I've heard it's pretty good. So then, again, try to keep your thoughts in your pants, gentlemen. Got Exorcist Believer.
That's my rating.
I give it a thumbs down. Yeah, it's middle of the road.
I'll
for me,
be right back, gentlemen, to talk.
Wait, Zach, quickly, Exorcist Believer. How would you rate that?
Oh, it's a movie I like more. It's a movie I think could have worked better as a standalone film about a man who's lost his faith. You cut out all the stuff with Ellen Burstyn and the sequel stuff. I think it'd be a lot better because it's disrespectful. I was left out because of the patriarchy and stabbing her eyes out. Plus, she didn't even want to be there, and it shows. So, yeah, I like more the movie it could have been rather than what it actually is. So, it's a middle for me. Thumbs middle.
Okay.
I will be right back.
Okay.
By the way, if I'm not back in time, overall as a franchise, I'd give it a B because I like 1 and 3.
I would give it a B minus because all I've seen are 1 and 3 and Believer, and I'm not Believer sucked. Exorcist the original, I'm like middle on, and I love Exorcist 3, but as a franchise, I give it like a B minus.
We did a Cool Kids review of this movie. You want my full thoughts? Go watch that.
Yeah.
It says, fuck this movie, fuck this movie, fuck this movie. Agreed. Fuck David Gordon Green. Double thumbs down. I'll be getting into this clown later, but this movie made me put him and this trilogy in the movie graveyard.
Yeah. Yeah. What he
Anyway,
Yeah.
how would we rate the franchise, gentlemen?
said. Honestly, I'd kind of give it. I mean, I'd say even you got A plus, F, A plus, maybe a couple C, D's, or F's. Then Exorcist Believer, you got a solid F. So I'm honestly just going to give it a C.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with Mark. I'm giving it's a C.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna give it a C plus because I gave it a B minus and he gave it a B. So C plus, would that be cool? C plus.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, C plus for Exorcist. All right. Let's hope the next one is a little bit better.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, it isn't. So Friday the 13th, there's a lot of them. So we're just gonna rapid fire through a lot of these.
All right, let's do this.
So just hang on. Hang on a sec. I need to get a whole new piece of paper because this is gonna be a lot. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Did I miss anything?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
We're talking about your favorite, Zach. Friday the 13th.
Oh, and I don't know if you heard me, but because I like 1 and 3 as a franchise, I'd give The Exorcist a B.
Yep. No, we gave it a C plus because these guys gave it a C. So
Right. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
okay. So hang on. Jason X. I'm not going to be counting Freddy versus Jason because I'm not counting crossover movies. So
Fair enough.
and then the remake, and that's it, right? Yeah, the remake. Okay. So for me, I'm just gonna rapid fire mine real quick. Friday the 13th Part 1, thumbs down. It sucks. Friday the 13th Part 2, thumbs up.
You
Friday
said
the
my
13th
favorite.
Friday the 13th Part 3, side middle. Boop. Boop. So side middle 4, up. Beginning, down.
Yeah.
Jason Lives, hard thumbs up. Best of the franchise, in my opinion. 4 is great, don't get me wrong, but I love Jason Lives. Jason Lives, it's one of my favorite.
All the Tommy ones, they're good.
We don't talk about 5.
Yeah.
New Blood, I'd give that like a soft thumbs up.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a lot of fun. Jason, I'm on a boat. Thumbs down. Friday the 13th, but also isn't Friday the 13th. Body swapping kink shit. Thumbs down. Jason X, full on thumbs up, baby. Fucking adore that.
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
And then the remake, only one I have not seen.
For me,
So try not to go too fast because I need to write all of these down.
fair enough. The original, outside of the ending, outside of the whole thing with Mrs. Voorhees, thumbs down. She makes coffee. Riveting. Part 2, light thumbs up. It's slightly better than the first movie. 3D, I'd give that one a thumbs up. I really enjoyed that one. Part 4 is that gets a double. Love Part 4. Love the characters.
Would you give Part
My
3
favorite Jason.
thumbs up? Thumbs up to Part 3?
Part 3 is a thumbs up.
Okay.
I love the biker gang. I love Shelly. Part 5, I'd give it a light thumbs sideways.
It all starts because of a chocolate bar, ladies and gents.
Really?
Yeah, all because of a
Willy
chocolate
Wonka
bar.
shit.
Part 6, that's a double thumbs up. Such a fun movie. Part 7, I'd give that a thumbs up. My favorite look for Jason. Part 8, thumbs down. Jason Goes to Hell, thumbs down. You guys are gonna kill me. Jason X, thumbs down.
Boo.
The
Boo
the
this
remake.
man! Boo!
The remake. I'd say a light thumbs down.
Okay.
I do love Derek Mears as Jason though.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
Sam Winchester's in it.
Yeah, and yeah, I agree.
Oh yeah, really.
I agree
Um,
for Austin with this one. Part 7 is fun.
Yeah.
Jason X is a fun time. It's
And,
self-aware on how stupid it is and has fun with itself. And also Austin also booing you for your shitty opinion, Devin, as well as Rob.
For me, it's all
Oh
right,
wait,
so-
we're gonna go with Mark first because that's in order.
oh,
Yeah.
shit. Bad.
That's an order. Anyway, 1 sucks. It's boring as fuck. 2 better. Got, the lead counselor and his girlfriend there. Fantastic. They're much better characters. So, yeah, thumbs up. Part 3, thumbs up. Even better. A lot of fun that one was. A lot of fun. Yeah, you do get the ridiculous, odds, but I mean, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, but it's
It's one of my favorite, maybe one of my favorite bad effects of all time, where the guy gets his eyes popped out and you can see the springs that they're on. God. Anyway, part 4, love, 2 big thumbs up. Part 5 sucks, and not because it's not Jason, but because the killer and his motive were just fucking stupid. And part 6. Fucking love it, and I go back and forth a lot on 4 and 6. Honestly, having watched the screening of it with the director, I think it's probably the best directed one. It might be the best one. Yeah. And it's really fucking fantastic. Part 7 is a lot of fun. Jason versus Carrie. Who didn't want to fucking see that? Part 8 sucks. It was a guilty pleasure for a long time, but having rewatched it this year, it fucking sucks. Part 9, oh my God, it's bad. It's really fucking bad. So, Jason X, fucking love, baby. Jason X is a hell of a lot of fun. My only complaint is not enough Uber Jason. And
guys, he just wanted his machete back.
Yeah, and the last one, the remake, I give it kind of a soft thumbs up. I kind of like the remake. I thought Derek Mears made a great Jason, and I thought it was fine. I mean, it holds the same elements you had in the other films. It felt just like the other films. I mean, shit. Going around doing stupid teenagers. So I mean, shit.
Yep.
All right, Zach. Try to rapid fire as much as you can.
Yeah, 1, it's a thumbs down. I like the ending with Mrs. Voorhees, but that's it. Part 2, I like because it has better characters, and I do not mind Sackhead Jason. Part 3, the characters aren't as interesting as 2, but it gave us Hockey Mask Jason, and his kills are pretty cool, so I'm a fan of that. Part 4 is my favorite because, or at least my favorite of the originals. It has the best set of characters. It has the best gore in the original line of films, and it has my favorite character in the entire franchise, Tommy Jarvis. So
he ran in the original timeline, Austin. Come on now.
Thank you.
Actually did.
And then part 5, I like that they're exploring Tommy's trauma and that they're making it a sort of mystery. Like, is it Tommy doing the kills, or is it someone else, or is it maybe Jason back? There's a solid mystery being set up, and I do like it.
Okay.
Part 6 is a lot of fun.
Would that be thumbs up or thumbs middle?
Part 5. Oh yeah, part 4 is thumbs up. Part 5 is a thumbs up. Part 6 is a thumbs up too. Even though you could say Tommy is an idiot and that he's the cause of Jason coming back, I like that he at least tries to take responsibility for it, and he just isn't a fucking coward like how these scenarios usually go. So that is what redeems it for me. So it's a thumbs up. 7 is a middle. You know, the Jason versus Carrie stuff is fun, but the kills are watered down to almost nothing. You could pretty much call this the PG-13 Friday the 13th film. So yeah, it's a thumbs up. Jason Boats and Hose fucking sucks. Like before Halloween ends, you
I
could
forget
call this
who came up with boats and hose. Was that you,
Robert.
Mark, or was that
Robert.
Rome?
Robert.
Oh,
Robert.
that was Rob. Okay.
Rob.
before Halloween ends, you could pretty much call this the big bait and switch film of the horror genre. They promise a whole film in freaking New York, but they fucking lied to us intentionally.
They
Lied.
had more problems than that in that movie, including young boy Jason showing up for no fucking reason.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's all that too. Just the characters are flat as bread. It's another
True.
one where the gore is just almost non-existent. I like the freaking punching the head off, but that's it. The body swap one, Jason Goes to Hell. It's fun. Like, I give it a thumbs middle. I like the bounty hunter character. The freaking
I will say he
Boo
was
this
cool.
man! Boo!
like what was his name? The Duke.
Yeah,
Thank you,
I will
Rob.
say he was in Supernatural. Rufus. He was fun. I will say he was fun, but the movie still sucked.
And he got some good gore in it.
Because
So
of his opinion.
like it's stupid. Like
Is allowed that.
although I will say, you know, it is a credible theory to how Jason came back when they showed the one of the Evil Dead books in there. So yeah, it's a thumbs middle. Jason
Trying to
X.
kill us often?
Jason X is also a lot of fun. I'll give that a thumbs middle. It's not good, but it at least has fun with it, and it's campy, but it embraces the campy. And yeah, Uber Jason. There's not enough of him, but he is a lot of fun when he's on screen. So
Okay.
and then oh shit, what's next? The remake.
The remake, yeah.
The remake is pretty much either that or 4 is my favorite one of the series. It does have my favorite portrayal of Jason though by Derek Mears. Like he is a badass, and the characters may not be the most interesting bunch, but
Ted White says hello.
yeah, like the characters aren't the most interesting bunch, but they're fun enough. And plus, you have Sam from Supernatural in there, so yeah, that's all you need.
Okay, we managed to get through that relatively quickly. So, just trying as much as I can to, because I know Friday the 13th was going to be a lot. So, speaking of a lot, Halloween. We'll try not to speed.
Oh, we
through this
didn't
one
rate the franchise.
Oh, right. Rating for this franchise. I'd give the
B.
franchise like a solid C+.
Yeah.
Like I think it was maybe even a B-.
Yeah,
Like it's fun.
The franchise is a B for me because even though I do like Jason Voorhees as a character, and he would be on my Mount Rushmore, he's just let down by the quality of some of these films. So,
Right.
yeah. It's
Okay. So I would say, yeah, let's B-. Mark, Devin, what do you think?
I would say a C+ too. I mean, I think that's about right for this franchise. It's not the
C+.
deepest shit. Yeah, it's just kind of fun,
All right. I'll stick with
Turn your brain off.
Exactly.
Zach.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to give it a C+?
Sure, that honestly sounds more fitting because the franchise is it's a mess overall. But yeah, I would agree.
All right. So now we have Halloween, and we won't speed through this one as much for the sake of Zach, but I think we can all agree on the first one. One of the greatest horror films of all time. Easily. So
I'll be right back.
We'll be right
okay,
back.
so we'll try to, have our thoughts on this one. So obviously Halloween. Amazing movie. I could just put it on in the background and it's just perfect. It's just perfect.
The first one's a
now-
fucking masterpiece. What else could be said?
Yeah, it is.
Exactly.
yeah.
So just writing all these down for the time being.
Yeah, like it is.
All these terrible. I'm also in terms of Halloween 6. I I am going to be counting both the producer's cut and the theatrical cut, similar with Exorcist at the beginning and Dominion, because we got to give it a quote unquote fair shot.
Yeah.
So even though it sucks,
Like,
but
yeah, Halloween is just a total.
I'll be back.
we'll get there when we get there.
Like I've said before that Night of the Living Dead the remake is like the scariest film I've ever seen. But overall, the original Halloween is my favorite horror film. And the
Right.
chase scene at the end with the shape stalks, that's the scariest scene in all of horror, if that makes sense. Or at least in my opinion.
Right.
Certainly the greatest moment of the movie and the greatest moment of the franchise. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the way they shot this film was just fucking beautiful. He took so many cues from like Psycho and stuff.
Yeah, and
you know,
like my favorite shot in the
atmosphere, because there's really not much gore in that film. There's
Oh.
really not, because I mean, it's blamed for starting the slasher genre, but I mean, it's like my thing is
Yeah,
like,
Irwin Yablans didn't want a lot of gore. He wanted it to be like the old radio shows he listened to as a kid, where you had to think about how the badness of it.
exactly.
Yeah, it's a thinking person's horror film, but in all the right ways.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And plus
Yeah.
Loomis. Need I say more?
Well, I mean, it's a thinking person's horror film disguised as schlock, So I mean,
Yeah.
you would just say, "Oh, with babysitter killers," I mean, killer.
Yeah.
movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's actually very intelligently made.
Like thumbs up, every single thumb on the planet, I would give it.
Yes. So we'll just start talking about the other movies, and then Devin can give his thoughts once he comes back. Halloween 2. It's pretty much just everything that the first one isn't, and not in a good way.
Exactly.
But I can't agree with Austin on this one. Sure, it's a great setting. Dean Cundy's cinematography is still great. The more gothic score is awesome, but it just falls flat in too many areas. It just becomes a generic slasher movie post Friday the 13th. And I absolutely fucking despise the sibling twist. I don't care what anybody says. The sibling twist is fucking stupid, and I hate it. And we only got it because fucking John Carpenter got too drunk and watched Empire Strikes Back. That's literally the only reason we got this stupid fucking twist. So with that, I give it a side middle. Everybody else's thoughts?
Out of all the Halloween films that I like, of the ones that I do like, because I will just say right now, this is my favorite horror franchise of all time. But of the ones that I do like, this is the one that's aged the most poorly for me because of the sibling twist. Yeah, the hospital setting is great, and that's a fun set of characters. I mean, Amazing Grace comes it on my face, but and as cool as the gore is, it's out of place. Like it
feels almost out of place.
It's just a total contradiction of what the first film was, with the suspense and to be fair, this film does have some good suspense, but as soon as you put the sibling twist in there, Michael Myers isn't scary anymore.
I got a different perspective because I mean, I actually don't mind the sibling twist. I still don't. I mean, I see why people don't like it, but I've never minded that. I actually liked it before, but I mean, now I understand why people don't like it, but I still don't mind it. But my thing is, my biggest problem with it is this is what turned Halloween into a generic slasher.
Exactly.
This is what really, because I mean, I've really soured on it. When I was a kid, I loved it. Yeah, I used to love it. But now, I'm older, more mature, I've really soured on it. I got a bit of very
side middle.
Yeah, side on. Yeah, like John.
Sorry, Zach. What was your score again?
Oh, it's a mild thumbs up.
Okay.
Because again, the setting.
I get the appeal for a lot of people, but it just becomes generic schlock essentially.
Yeah.
And speaking of the opposite of generic schlock, Halloween 3.
Really
big thumbs up from me. I really enjoy this movie. The score by Carpenter is still great. I everyone's problems with it. I know there's a few that make sense, and I respect them, mainly with Filmmaster Adams review. He's one of the few that actually gives a good review of it, because it's not just Michael Myers isn't in it, so I hate it. So I respect it for that. However, a lot of people are like, "Oh, I don't like Chalice because he just wants to save the day for pussy."
Fuck right in
And-
the pussy.
And wouldn't you? Like, come on. Like, oh, he's so unlikable. He just wants to do it for Poo-Tang. Okay. And I say Mark's catchphrase. And
Yeah.
why are you complaining? Because
Plus-
you would fucking do that too.
Plus, you have
assholes.
one of the
It's realistic.
greatest
Yeah.
villains in
Yeah,
all of
it's-
horror.
And fucking Dan O'Hurley, he's fucking brilliant. The acting's really good. The story's great. Nigel Neal's original script is probably better, and even though it doesn't have the gore, it probably would have been a better movie. But even with all that, I still heavily enjoy Halloween 3. Quick thoughts, Devin. Halloween 2 score.
Despite the fact that the sibling twist is dumb, I still like Halloween 2. Thumbs up. Halloween 3, one of my biggest guilty pleasures. I do like this movie. I like watching it ever. Like watching this in October puts me in the mood. Thumbs up.
It's a thumbs
Alright.
up for me
Silver
too.
Shamrock.
because,
358
I am
more days-
admittedly guilty of
4 days of Halloween.
Silver Shamrock.
I'm admittedly guilty of not watching it for a long time because Michael Myers wasn't in it. It's not because I thought it was gonna suck. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not that I thought it was gonna suck. I just wasn't interested because where's Michael? But after I watched it for the first time after I got the box set in 2018 because I was excited for the new film coming out, and I really enjoyed it. I respected that it was trying to do something different because that's what they wanted to do from the very beginning, was not just have it be the Michael Myers show. And I will admit, as much as a lot of these movies that I love, I am very curious as to what they could have been if they had went the anthology route.
Yeah.
And plus, Silver Shamrock is a lot of fun, and the freaking I'm blanking on his name. I don't know why, but he's one of the best villains in all of horror, possibly in and possibly in any movie.
Colonel
love-
Cochran.
Huh?
Colonel Cochran?
Oh yeah, Cochran. Yeah, I love how you can tell the actors is having a total ball with this role, both before and after he goes full villain, and the way he's defeated at the end. That's just,
Guys,
it's just
RoboCop.
yeah, it's just freaking. It's just fun. Again, as much as I love a lot of the Michael films, I do slightly mourn the fact that we never got the anthology route. So it's a big thumbs up for me. I'm really growing on Halloween 3.
For me, I avoided watching because my mother always said, my mother was a big fan of Halloween. She always said it sucked. It didn't have Michael in it, so I just never watched it. So, but you guys convinced me. I watch him this is great. This is fun, man. It's not, I wouldn't call it great, maybe, but it's a lot of fun, So, like Austin said, it's a lot of fun. I'd give it a thumbs up.
Okay, cool. So now we get to, ironically, even though Halloween 4 was the one that begrudgingly brought Michael back, it's better than Halloween 3. Major thumbs up.
Yeah.
God, I fucking love this movie.
Even though it does derive from the sibling twist, we got Danielle Harris out of it. So you know what? I can't complain too much. She gave a great performance even as a kid. Honestly, her acting might have gone worse, but again, the only thing that I've seen of her as an adult is from the Rob Zombie Halloween movies, and we will get to those later. So who knows? But she was excellent in Halloween 4, even in Halloween 5. But yeah, Halloween 4, great Loomis, even though it doesn't make sense that he's alive, or Michael for that matter.
There
But
was a scrapped opening.
yeah, I do. Yeah, where it more so connects to the second movie, but then they leave it up to a mystery because it really doesn't fucking make sense how both of them survived, especially Loomis. But again, Halloween 4, fucking great.
Yeah, this movie's perfect sequel. My favorite, besides the original, this is my second favorite. Gets better every time I watch it. I love the darker tone. I love how Michael in this movie is smart, because He takes out the police, then the power, and then goes straight for his target.
This is Michael at
Like
his
he's a
most
predator.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's a lot deadlier, and I know people
Charger.
complain about the mask. The mask doesn't look good, and he looks weird, and and he kind of looks like a hunchback. George P. Wilbur was a fucking force to be reckoned with as Michael in this movie. And this has my favorite kill. He fucking stabs a woman with a shotgun. How is that not badass?
That's just fucking awesome.
And
That's
the
the best
ending,
kill of the whole franchise.
I absolutely loved it. One of probably possibly the biggest missed opportunity in horror.
Fuck you, Dominique Othen and Gerard.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is-
Halloween 4, it's... Oh, I'll let Mark go.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, Halloween 4. Yeah, this is, as I said, before Halloween Kills came out, this was always Michael at his most deadly. Like Devin said, he takes out the cops and just pretty much holds the town hostage almost unintentionally. And I think that when they're all in the house grouped up, that is so chillingly scary, the tension that's built up there. Because none of these characters like each other, but none of that petty shit matters. They're just trying to stay alive.
Yeah.
And Loomis, I have literally zero complaints whatsoever about Loomis in this film. I think this is him at his absolute best. The level of selflessness and compassion that he shows in this film, he's willing to die for a town of people that pretty much do not give a shit about him. They hate him. But you want another victim, take me. But leave those people in peace. That is the best Loomis scene in the entire franchise. Don't at me, even for all the great scenes he has in the original. And then, of course, you have the kills, and of course, Jamie is just a very sympathetic character. Rachel is a badass, especially towards the end. And then, of course, the ending, even if in the next film, but not either way, it is one you could have easily ended the film there, ending it on a dark note, showing out how the evil comes full circle. So, yeah, the love Howling 4. Two
I
thumbs.
mean, for me, I'm just going to keep my thoughts short. It's my favorite of the Halloween sequels, easily. Daniel Harris, you're fucking amazing. I love you, and you were fantastic. This is what Halloween Kills was trying to be and failed. This is how you do a real mob scene. So, I mean, the ending is fucking legendary. I fucking love it. Jesus, what could have been? Yeah, 2 big thumbs up.
All right. Halloween 5 and 6.
Fuck them.
Now, I have not seen the theatrical cut of Halloween 6. I've only seen the producer's cut. Both are terrible for their own reasons. The theatrical cut, from what I've heard, the editing is terrible, and it makes no sense. It makes somehow even less sense.
Is horrible.
It's dumb, terrible acting, all that shit. Producer's cut, it flows better, and it does have that autumnal essence that a lot of people like. It still sucks because there's incest rape, and why? Why
would you do this? Why?
And Halloween 5 arguably might be worse in a lot of areas because sure, Halloween 6 has that, but at least Halloween 6 at points feels like a Halloween movie. Halloween 5 doesn't, and it's horribly paced, horribly directed, horribly made, and the acting is terrible, even from Donald Pleasance, who clearly phoned it in, and Daniel Harris is trying, but it's not working. Sure, I'd probably agree with that.
Yeah.
And I'd agree with this too.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Garbage.
both are fucking terrible. Honestly, go hand in hand with their awfulness because Halloween 5 is technically the worst movie, but Halloween 6 is just honestly a more offensive experience. So both are absolutely fucking horrendous, and I think we could all mutually agree they suck.
Yeah.
Damn straight.
Yeah, Halloween 5 is, I mean, for one, they don't follow up at all or take advantage of the ending in 4 that was spoon-fed to them. The direction they could have
Dominique
gone.
Othen and Gerard said that was too predictable because
Fuck
it's
off.
a clear,
Bringing back
it's
Michael
a
was too
clear
predictable.
course of action. Okay?
Please. Look, like I hate to insult people personally, but Donna, Dom, but Dominic Fenner was just a crazy old dude who's never made a
Yeah.
good film in his life. But
He's
yeah,
probably
Halloween
made some
5,
good movies, but he hasn't made a good Halloween
it
movie.
is the last Jedi. It is the last Jedi, but Halloween, because the way they use Loomis is disrespectful. The way they take out Rachel is disrespectful. And I will admit, Tina, I will defend aspects of her. She's annoying and kooky throughout a lot of the movie, but I wasn't disliking her up until the ending of this. Like again, she's a she's annoying, but I wasn't disliking her. But the point where she just leaves Jamie behind crying, that scene, that's where I was starting to hate her. Because before I was just like, yeah, she's annoying, but she's a party girl.
Yeah,
Whatever.
the only good thing she did throughout that entire movie was sacrifice herself for Jamie, but even then, that doesn't
And the thing is,
do anything for me.
you could swap that. You could just make Tina this nothing character who dies in the way that Rachel does, and Rachel dies that way, saving her life for James, giving her life for James. It
Yeah,
still
that would have
wouldn't
been better.
redeem the movie entirely.
Honestly, his interview for Taking Shape was definitely an intriguing one and really opened my eyes with how much of a narcissistic sack of shit he was. But I will say, I will give him this. He actually knew what the fucking thorn symbol meant, so I'll give him that. He actually knew that it's not what Halloween 6 claimed it to be. He knew it was the opposite. So, I'll give him that. But outside of that, he's an idiot.
But then Halloween 6, either version you watch, you get something messy, sloppy, and disappointing. Even though I think the theater cut is the better film because doesn't have the incest rape and all that, it is horribly edited, horribly acted, except for Donald Pleasance, who I think is a return to form in this movie. But yeah, either version is incomplete.
Yep.
And the thing is, with the producer's cut, it's better made with the editing and the pacing. I was appreciating that Loomis had more scenes in it, but then the devil cult shit and the incest rape comes in, and it just kills the momentum.
Yep. Essentially, yes.
So
fuck both of these films. I don't want to talk about them anymore. Let's move on.
Yeah,
so thumbs down for
H2O.
Yeah, I didn't give my full thoughts.
We know you hate it. We know you hate all three.
Yeah,
thumbs
down.
Yeah, exactly. Like 6 is 5 started the downfall, and it has Tina and is more focused on setting up the next disappointing entry instead of being a movie. And Halloween 6 is both cuts are the absolute worst of the worst of this franchise.
Yep, we can all agree they are thumbs down.
Yeah,
with this.
1,000 middle fingers.
Let's get to H2O. Oh boy, this is gonna be. Luckily, I am in control of the stream. H2O. It was initially a thumbs middle, but it's honestly a movie that gets worse the more I think about it. Thumbs down. It's if CW did Halloween, and it's not good. Josh Hartnett's trying. Jamie Lee Curtis is great as always, but that's all I can really give it. Michael looks like a doofus. The teen characters are terrible. It's not well paced. I don't even remember the police officer's name. He was kind of okay, but like that didn't amount to anything.
Oh, Ronnie, the LL Cool J.
No, well, yeah, I liked LL Cool J. Honestly, he was like the most interesting character out of fucking everyone in this movie, and he was just added to be like, the kids like the rappers, let's have him. So that was essentially his part. But yeah, H2O, not a horrible movie, but it leans more towards thumbs down than thumbs middle for me because it's just the CW doing Halloween, and I couldn't get into it. Yeah. Sorry.
For me, it's thumbs sideways. Jamie Lee Curtis is great. I like some scenes. I love the argument scene between John and Lori. Score is good, but overall it doesn't hold up. It gets kind of boring in spots. It relies on like fake outs and jump scares. And Chris Durand is the worst actor to have ever played Michael Myers. They make The Shape, the boogeyman, unlike the last movie, kind of like with the last movie that came out in this franchise, they made Michael into a punk, a pussy. Like, this guy, this is when I see Chris Durant, I'm like, that's not Michael. That's a guy dressed up like Michael.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
But I do think that was where it should have ended.
Yep. Pretty much the only reason to watch it is that the definitive ending of Michael getting killed, but that's honestly it.
I liked it. I liked it when I first saw it in the theater. I loved it when I first saw it in the theater. I still love it. Yeah, I understand it has some weaknesses. I mean, the Michael, yeah, not a good Michael. I agree. But I mean, I love Jamie Lee Curtis. I love Josh Hartnett in this. I think he's fucking fantastic. I think their chemistry is really great together. I love her story arc in this, her character arc in this, far better than what David Gordon Green did. Fuck him for that shit. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's still a thumbs up. I still like it. So
Okay. Zach?
It's a thumbs up for me, although there are aspects that haven't aged as well. If you saw my new ranking, I have now ranked it below Halloween 4 at number 6. But I do like it. You know, I like the emotional arc that Laurie Strode has, and the climax is properly built up to and paid off. I think her son is a good character, and what I like is they don't try to demonize either side. You get why her son wants to have this freedom because of the frustrations he has with his mother, but you also get why Laurie is scared to let her son go. So they don't demonize either side. They let you see both sides, and again, the argument scene is really good. Michael, Michael is really skinny, but I think he gets the job done just enough, even if the mask looks weird. And one of the best kills in the franchise, though, with the freaking elevator thing crushing the chick's leg and all that.
Oh yeah, that's great. I mean, the thing is, John, about it being CW.
Oh, I was gonna say though that
my thing is that it's essentially a '90s horror movie. In that sense, it's very '90s in the way it is. It's very much a product of its time. Maybe that makes it doesn't hold up, but I mean, I think I still like it.
Like, honestly, and as good as the climax and the ending of the movie is,
I fucking love that ending.
I don't like how it just ends right away when she kills Michael. Because I feel like if you're trying to build this whole emotional arc with her where she's trying to change and get better, you need at least like a few more minutes after, like to give an afterword to that. And there's another film in this franchise that I think does that brilliantly. So, yeah, overall though, there's more that I like in H2O than I don't. Like, it's certainly not like it's aged poorly, but
would you give it like a side middle, or would you give
it it's still a thumbs up though. The stuff that works in it still does work really well. But yeah. Oh, and plus I do like LL Cool J in this. I do think he's entertaining.
Indeed. Halloween Resurrection sucks. It's just a Friday the 13th masked as a Halloween movie. It's just dull and repetitive. Busta Rhymes is a lot of fun. Trick or treat, motherfucker. But outside of that, dull. And I'm surprised Katie Sackhoff had a career after this.
Double thumbs down. Double thumbs down. The movie is boring. Busta Rhymes is annoying. The opening is insulting. And it ends with Michael Myers being electrocuted in the nuts, and he screams like a beluga whale.
Yep.
Woo!
Yep. Yeah, the most unnecessary dog shit. You didn't. Why? Like, I know there was a why. Like there is a why, but still, why? You get what I mean? Why? Why fuck this over? This might be worse of an audience betrayal than Alien 3. If anything, I know you like that film, John. That's cool. But if anything, I think it's just as bad of an audience betrayal. Yeah, it's been said to death about that, but I do want to give some credit to things that I do actually quite like in this. The main Halloween theme in this, I actually think is really good. With that haunting, orchestral kind of vibe to it through the middle of it. And there are moments where with Michael in the darkness and the way that it's all that, but yeah. But other than that, though, it's unnecessary. It didn't need to exist, and it put a permanent stain on this franchise. So
Pretty much. So
Um,
for me, for the remake stuff, oh, sorry, Mark.
well, just to keep it really short and sweet, I mean, it's so bad it's good at best, and that's only in certain moments, mainly when Busta Rhymes is on the screen. I mean, Trick or
yeah,
Treat, Motherfucker, that's one of the funniest fucking
yeah,
scenes I've
he's
seen.
a fun character that if anything,
At the same time, it's just a really, really bad fucking movie. So it's awful, and the way they killed off Jamie Lee Curtis, fuck this. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah.
They had a perfect ending, and then the Akkads had to ruin it because, hey, let's try to milk more out of Michael. So,
Yep. Now it comes to Rob Zombie's attempts at rekindling this franchise. Both of them had a lot of really good ideas. Now, I didn't hate the sibling twist this time around because this is purely Rob Zombie's vision. This is a different timeline. This is a different version. So, I didn't mind it this time around, and I didn't mind the backstory with Michael because again, this is a different Michael. This is all different. This is all new. I'm like, okay, whoosh, previous timeline doesn't exist anymore. What do we see? And for the most part, with the first movie, I was entertained. Like, it's an entertaining movie. It has a lot of dumb shit. Like the reason Michael escapes is fucking stupid because the only versions that are around are the director's cuts, and the director's cuts are arguably worse than the theatrical cuts. So there's that. Um, so yeah, a lot of dumb stuff, and you take this entire movie and you take a 90-minute movie and make it 55 minutes and put it in the second half of your movie. If you're gonna do something so different in the first half, just keep it different for the rest of the movie instead of just trying to do the first movie but worse. Just doesn't work.
yeah,
But still, I was still entertained. I didn't mind Scout Taylor Compton. She was kind of annoying at points, but she wasn't too bad. Daniel Harris, always a win, and
congratulations.
lot of boobies, a lot of Sherry Moon zombies ass. I guess that's fine. I guess,
That's
And
Rob Zombie.
Godzilla.
but side middle. Same with Halloween 2. I appreciate the fact that all it had to do with the original Halloween 2. Okay, opening dream sequence. Now let's get to my version. And again, even though the pacing is worse and it's more boring and it's not as entertaining, Rob Zombie tried to do something new and he tried to do something different. He's like, okay, this is my movie. I'm going to try to do what I want to do. And it kind of sort of works. It had a lot of intriguing ideas, but again, a lot of it falls flat. A lot of it is duking it out with one another, and it just doesn't work. So with that, I also give it a side middle. It had intriguing ideas, and I respect it for that, but they're still not good movies.
To me, both of these movies, they're like fascinating failures. The remake, thumb sideways. Two is a thumbs down because I see the good ideas presented, but there's just a lot of cringe. Like the dialogue is cringeworthy. The escape scene in the director's cut is one of the worst moments of the whole franchise, and that was the scene. I read an early draft of Rob Zombie's Halloween. John, I'll probably send it to you. That was his intended scene of how Michael escaped. Even Todd has the amazing line of dialogue. Quote, "We taught the R word how to fuck." Yes, somebody wrote that. Halloween, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Probably one of his best movies visually, but again, cringy dialogue. The director's cut made Laurie super unlikable and whiny.
That would have been funny.
Dr. Loomis, they made Dr. Loomis an asshole. Like seriously, like look how they massacred my boy. And to top it all off, Michael talks.
Die.
Die.
yeah, God, that's dumb.
Yeah, they're not great movies, but when I review them, I still recommended them to my viewers because you got to see these to believe them.
Pretty much.
All right. So the first Rob Zombie Halloween, I think the effort comes across as genuine, even if you could definitely say it's not perfect. Because whereas past directors of these movies clearly had no passion or liking for the franchise, like with 5 and 6, you could tell that Rob Zombie actually wanted to try and do right by Halloween because John Carpenter's a good friend of his. So the effort does show. It feels like Halloween, not just with the score, but it just feels like Halloween. And I liked the idea of having the sibling twist right away, so that way it's not just some forced twist. It added more dimension and depth into it all. Um, Sherry Moon Zombie's character I actually sympathized with quite a bit, and I do prefer the other escape scene for obvious reasons. Yeah, everything else that's dumb about it with the dialogue and even some of the pacing issues, everyone's dunked on it, and I would probably dunk on those too. But overall, just to keep it short, there is more that I like in this film than what I dislike, and it's enough for me to give it a slight thumbs up. And then Rob Zombie's second film, ugh, kind of like the first film, where you respect what he's trying to do, and you can tell that he's trying to make something Halloween, albeit something very different. But the problems in this film, I think, are worse than the problems in his first film. Not just with the dialogue, but with how they portray some of the characters. If you watch the theatrical cut, Laurie is fine, but in the producers and the director's cut, she is very unlikable. I don't know why you would want to add scenes like that back in, but and Annie and Brackett are the only two likable characters in this film. When frickin' Brackett finds his daughter's body towards the end, that is one of the most heartbreaking scenes in the entire franchise, and it just shows that Brad Dourif was a perfect casting choice to replace Charles Cyphers. But I don't like the ending in either version. It's too ambiguous, and you don't know what it's supposed to mean. You have this freaking white room or whatever, and it's just, huh? So, but I can watch it. It's fine. So I'll give it a thumb sideways.
Okay.
For me, I respect that he was trying to do his own thing with it. He obviously brings his brand of hillbilly horror to it, put his own spin on it. So, I mean, I respect that he's doing his own thing with it, So, I mean, if you like Rob Zombie, you'll probably like these films, So, I mean, but for me, I just don't think it works because when you explain Michael, you make him less scary. What the scary thing about Michael is that he came from a normal middle class family in the suburbs. You could not fucking imagine this kid coming. I mean, this innocent little kid, killing his sister brutally like this with no fucking explanation. There's nothing. So, I mean, and it makes it a lot less scary. So, I mean, and I respect what he was trying to do. There are parts of it that are actually pretty good. I mean, the brutality. Tyler Mane makes a very good Michael Myers. So I mean, very brutal with the kills and everything.
And the mask.
Harris, fucking love her. She's fantastic. So it's nice to see her back. But Scout Taylor Compton, I thought she was all right. I mean. But I mean, it is what it is. The second one was really fucking weird. Especially bringing back his wife and having her on a white horse appearing randomly in the movie for some fucking reason. It's like, what the fuck were you trying to do, Rob? But yeah, I give them both a thumbs down. So.
I just really like
My wife,
okay.
They're not as bad as Halloween 5 and 6. Nowhere near that bad. But I mean,
Oh no.
Are they still thumbs down for you though?
it's still definitely thumbs down. Yeah.
Okay.
Would we all agree though that his first one is better than the second one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would say yeah. First one.
Because again, it's like real quick, you can totally
Okay.
tell that he wanted to make Halloween.
Now we're gonna get into the David Gordon Green trilogy, and I'm going to implement the timer again because I didn't because I thought we were going through stuff quickly, but I have to implement it again because fucking Zach keeps going too far with this shit. So I'm putting a 5-minute timer on. All right, we're putting a 5-minute timer on. So just so we have it, sort of okay. All right. So
Yep.
Here we go. So for me, I'm just gonna go through all three. Halloween 2018 is really great. For me, it's my second favorite of the franchise. I think it did a lot right, even though you could say that the H2O way of Laurie dealing with grief and what her trauma was done better. This was still a way better movie. Um, Austin, thanks from the Peanut Gallery. But yeah, Halloween 2018, I thought it was really great. I genuinely like. I thought it did a lot right. It did have some dumb shit, but overall, still a great movie. Halloween Kills wasn't good, but it was fun. I had a fun time. I was in a theater. A lot of people were loud. A lot of people were talking. It was just like a fun experience. It was nothing. It was fun. Nothing great, but fun. Halloween Ends, similar to the Rob Zombie Halloween movies. A lot of interesting ideas, but it was done really fucking poorly in a lot of areas. I still enjoyed what they were going for more so than Rob Zombie's Halloween movies, but it's still not great. So Halloween 2018, I give a big old thumbs up. Halloween Kills is a sideways. Halloween Ends is a very, very soft sideways. It's it would be like right here. Like it wouldn't be a thumbs down, but it's a very soft middle. So there you
All
go.
right. Try and go through this as quickly as possible. Despite the dumb humor, I do like 2018. I think it's a good film. Halloween Kills. Halloween Kills. My brain cells. Like unnecessary filler galore, stupid characters, horrible, cringeworthy, on the nose dialogue, uh, like terrible, like half-hearted themes. Benny Hill, Danny DeVito chase. Like, yes, good. Yes, there are good kills. It still sucks.
Yeah.
Halloween Ends was an insulting experience. Thinking about that movie still fucking pisses me off. Like the fact that you sidelined your two established characters in your finale and you focus on this bland, annoying, nothing douchebag who takes the motherfucking boogeyman to the ground and you reduce him to a weak old man.
Exactly.
And David Gordon Green, he's a fucking pretentious asshole who thinks, he's so deep with his scripts, and he's not. I have no respect. I have no respect for this man. Fuck David Gordon Green. Movie graveyard. Fuck him. Watch my reviews.
Yeah. So,
Mark,
down.
I'm gonna go with Mark. Quick thoughts.
Sure.
Quick thoughts. Halloween 2018. I got to give him credit for that one. That one's good. I thought maybe it went a little bit overboard on the gore even at the time, but it is really because I think it was kind of funny that he killed like 5 people in the first film. A couple of them off screen, and in this one he kills like about 30 people it seemed. But anyway, solid film. Kills. I gave it a kind of okay rating at first, but the more I think about it, the less I like it, and that's definitely thumbs down. This film dies tonight. This film needs to fucking die tonight. Speaking of films that need to die tonight, fuck Halloween Ends. That film was fucking insulting. Dear God. That film was awful. What Jack said. Yeah. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, Zach, you have 45 seconds. Go.
All right. Halloween 2018 had a huge emotional impact on me. If you've seen my recent ranking video, you'll know what I mean. But I loved how they just went back to basics. All the stuff from the sequels is gone. Michael is motiveless evil again. I resonated deeply with Laurie Strode's arc of the trauma and showing how at the end she's on the path of having a better life. And I don't even mind the Sartain thing. I like how he just kills him at the end.
15 seconds.
It supports the fact that he's motiveless evil. Halloween Kills. By bringing back the other legacy characters, I feel like they justified the movie's existence. Yeah, there's a lot of dumb decisions. Evil dies tonight, but all
right, you're done.
An exceptional theme.
Scores.
All right, so thumbs up for the whole trilogy. I thought Halloween Ends was a satisfying ending, even if I understand how people didn't gravitate towards it.
Okay, and if you want to know Zach's further thoughts, I'm sure he has 10 billion videos on his channel explaining why he jacks off to this every night. Anyway,
The themes.
I already gathered your scores. I assume both of you gave it a thumbs up for the first one and then thumbs down for both of those.
Damn straight.
Okay, so rating this franchise, that's a tough one. I'm gonna give it a B just because just because 1, 4, and 2018 are so excellent, as well as 3. I give it a B. What's everyone else's thoughts?
Oh, if it was just the original and the new trilogy, that continuity, it would be an A plus. But if it's all of them, oh, this is so tough because this is my favorite horror franchise. I can't deny that it's messy, so B plus.
All right, Devin, Mark, how do you rate this franchise?
Mark, you want to go first?
Oh, you're
Muted.
muted.
You're muted.
Honestly, I'd give it a. I'll go first. Honestly, I'd give it a C minus, because honestly, there's a lot more bad than good in this franchise. There's only 5 films that I really like. There's, there's 1, 3, 4, H2O, and 2018. That's the only films I really like. I mean, other than that, the rest of them I could really.
Okay.
2 was all right, but I'd just give it a C minus.
Yeah, I'm with Mark. I'll go C minus because 1, 2, 3, 4, 2018 are the only ones I care, or the only ones I care about.
Exactly.
I'm willing to give it a C. Zach, what about you? Are you willing to give it a C?
I guess, yeah.
Okay. All right, we can calm down a bit, guys. Okay, we can calm down a bit. Next, we have Jaws. And there's only 4 films. So, I think we can all agree the first one is one of the greatest horror films ever made. It's
Damn
got
straight.
everything about it is excellent. It's fun. It's horrific. It's suspenseful. It's tensionful. Adventure, action. It just the encompassing of what a blockbuster should be, despite inventing the phrase. Thumbs up.
Double thumbs up for me. Absolutely love Jaws. Perfect summertime movie.
Mhm.
Like, just brilliant. Great start for Steven Spielberg's career.
Yep.
There's a reason a lot of people still think this is Spielberg's best movie. 2 thumbs up. Amazing.
For a film that had a lot of behind the scenes issues with the shark, I feel like that was actually beneficial to them as far as how they showed the shark and all that, the building up to it. That was all cool. The characters are all great. Quint is my favorite character in the entire movie, and yeah, it is the shark movie of all time. So 2 thumbs up.
Unfortunately, it stops there pretty much. Jaws 2, it had a lot of decent ideas script-wise, and I believe in the novelization. But in execution, it just falls flat in a lot of areas. It just becomes generic and bland. Roy Scheider is always great, and he had a lot of like trauma from the first movie, and that was kind of done interestingly. But all the teenager characters, they can't act. They're not interesting. It's honestly, Jaws 2 kind of feels like H2O in a lot of areas, where it's just a bland, not as good version of the original. But I give it
honestly feels
sideways
more-
purely for Roy Scheider.
It honestly feels more Friday the 13th, but this is the only Jaws sequel that I genuinely like. It is obviously nowhere near the heights of the original, but it's not bad. I mean, Roy Schneider, even if there's a lot of behind the scenes drama with him, if you know the story, I honestly think he still does really good here. And you really feel the plight that he has, you not wanting to go through any of that again. The characters are bland as bread, but they serve their purpose. And that one bit though, with when the shark comes up and eats the chick who's saving the kid, that is a chilling scene. So I would give it, yeah, I'll give it a generous thumbs up simply because I think it's the only good sequel.
All right, Mark.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. It's really it's a really huge step down. I mean, I'm just gonna give it, say with you, kind of it's not terrible, not as bad, especially not in light of 3 and 4. But I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
And speaking of, you guys take the floor for the other two because I haven't seen them.
Yeah.
Jaws 3, I have guilty pleasure fun with this. Admittedly, the concept is really cool with the shark in SeaWorld, is it? That's where it was?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's actually a fun concept. Putting a shark in SeaWorld and seeing what happened there. Even if it's not executed that well, that's a cool concept. And again, honestly, the film it's fun. It's guilty pleasure fun. But even if the 3D effects are horrible, that's all I can say is that I can watch this and have guilty pleasure fun with it. So, even if it's not good, I'll give it a thumbs up just because I still enjoy it. Ironically,
Mark.
3, 3 is bad. 3 is really bad. Dear God, even at the time, I thought it was bad as a kid. So I mean, really, it's really dumb. Only another thing with those stupid 3D effects. I just remember an arm floating through the water. Oh, everybody just kind of laughing at it.
and
just
the
how.
shark just going on.
Yeah, exactly. It just wasn't very good. No.
Ugh,
All right, then finally, Jaws: The Revenge.
terrible. Like, if Jaws 3, like I said, I genuinely enjoyed, albeit for guilty pleasure. Jaws 4 is just bad. Like, not even the grand presence of Michael Caine is enough to save this. Even though I do like him in this, it's stupid. The freaking
Really stupid.
psychic connection with a shark. What? That is literally the plot. Devin, I see what you're saying. The woman from the first film, the husband of Roy, the wife of Roy Schneider, has a psychic connection with the shark. They move to the Bahamas, and that shark follows them to the Bahamas. It's stupid.
Really stupid.
Yeah, thumbs down. Like, any of the guilty pleasure fun that was in 3 is just gone here. It is awful. So
Pretty much. And I assume, Mark, you feel the same way.
Yeah, it's fucking awful. It's reprehensible. Jesus, I remember seeing this at the time, thinking, "Dear God, that's fucking awful." It's
All right, now let's quickly shot through Jaws 5 through 19. Come on, let's go.
What about Big Jaws?
The shark still looks fake.
wouldn't that tornado?
But yeah, franchise as a whole, I'm gonna say the thing is the original is so amazing, but as a franchise, I would give it like a D.
Yeah,
D plus.
I'll be generous and give it a B because 2 is a good but not as good sequel, and again 3 is guilty pleasure, so it's a B.
All right, Mark, what would you give it?
I'd give it about a D. I think a D sounds about right. Because
For some leeway, purely for Zach, C minus, maybe D plus.
Sure, because I get that not everyone sees 3 as a guilty pleasure, so I get it.
All right, I'm gonna give that a D plus. All right, now we get to a bit better of a franchise, A Nightmare on Elm Street. I think we can all universally agree the first is one of the greatest of all time. It is one of the GOATs. All thumbs up. Correct.
Yep.
Damn straight fucking love this movie.
Yeah. Oh, I love that movie.
yeah, he was really on to something with this. It was a really neat idea.
Oh, by the way, Dylan is a fan, by the way, as of now.
Nice.
That doesn't forgive him for saying the first Halloween is bad.
Yeah, fuck Dylan. What the fuck
Fuck
does he
Dylan.
know? Anyway,
Dylan
so
is-
we can all universally agree on that. Great, amazing, every sense of the word. Honestly, I would
Sure.
say Nancy is a bit of almost an underrated final girl because I don't see her brought up
Yeah.
that much. Like, even though she's part of like the one of
Yeah.
the big franchises, because like Laurie Strode, oh my god, Laurie Strode. But like, Heather Langenkamp was great. Nancy was great.
Oh, I love her. I love Heather Langenkamp. Yeah.
So now we move on to the gay one, Nightmare on Elm Street 2. I don't hate this movie.
No.
It's fun. It's a
Yeah,
It's not that bad.
it's not that
No.
bad. Now, depending on if it's actually gay or not, depends on the person. Hell, a friend of mine says it's quite the opposite. It's actually very homophobic, but that's in the eye of the beholder. So, it's
I
Thumb sideways.
yeah,
I'm
I like
thumb
it.
what
It-
sideways.
I
It's
like
okay.
yeah, thumb
Yeah,
side.
I like the idea of Freddy trying to live again. In fact, a friend of mine has actually called Nightmare on Elm Street 2 the idea of Halloween Ends, but done right.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
can see it.
I like what they were going for in Halloween, not Halloween, but in Nightmare on Elm Street.
yeah,
I thought
like
it was pretty interesting.
Interesting idea. Shame he didn't really get a ton of action outside of that, but
and plus has anyone mentioned that there's only like 2 kills in this movie?
I think so.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
It really doesn't feel like that, does it? Or at least, aside from the big massacre at the party, there's only 2 like individual kills. Freaking the coach and then Grady.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I really love the opening and ending sequences in this movie
Yeah.
where Freddy as the bus driver. That's fucking great, man. Especially you see Robert Englund there, like holy shit, that's Freddy. You
Yep.
know,
Like,
yeah, that's really
it's
great.
it's a good idea. Freddy just he's trying to live again, and
Yeah, I think it's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with
Yeah.
two.
no.
Zach, would you give it a sideways or a thumbs up?
Oh, it's a thumbs up because it's good.
I'd say thumb sideways.
It's fine.
Oh, and plus,
Um,
I do think the main character is good too. So
Yeah, he's good. But now let's move on to better things with Nightmare 3.
yes,
Definite thumbs up. Welcome to prime
Yes.
time, bitch.
every
fucking go.
single
Hell
thumb in the galaxy. I give it all my thumbs, all my fingers, all my little
Yes.
pinky toes. It gets everything.
Because they
Damn
actually
fucking straight.
back, man. They're not just victims. Shit, they're actually fucking fighting back like warriors, man. Shit, I fucking love it.
Yeah, dude,
it's great.
so-
I mean, they're all great and likable and fun and
Mm.
just they work as characters. Like you actually give a shit about them. What a
The
thought.
only thing I would really say,
Plus,
and it's
there's
not a-
titties, so
the only thing I would really say, and it's not a negative, I actually wonder what you guys think. Do you feel like they did all that they could have with her dad coming back too? That's plot wise.
I think I think that was done okay.
Like, if anything, like I feel like they could at least give him like a fight with the skeleton Freddy instead of him just dying right away. But it doesn't stay in the film. I just feel like it could have had a fight at least.
It has Patricia Arquette.
Mm.
Indeed.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it had a great
A
cast.
future Oscar winner getting eaten by a gigantic snake Freddy. I dig it.
Mhm.
Seriously, I fucking
And
love it.
I actually like.
It's fucking great, man.
And plus, I actually like Nancy in this and this one more than the original.
Yeah, because she feels
Yeah.
like it feels like she has like an earned arc and that sort of
Yeah.
thing. It works. But yeah, everything. Yeah. Damn straight. But anyway, Nightmare 4, I was really surprised with. I was surprised that it was actually a good movie because the
Yeah.
only thing I really knew about it was that all the characters die from the previous movie that you liked. But the thing is, you actually still had time with them. You still actually like cared, like they still had like a good send off. I still don't
Yeah.
like that they died, but they had a good send off, and you had like a good chunk of the movie with them. And Alice is still a really good final girl. Again, an underrated final girl. So honestly, with Nightmare 4, it's not as good as 1 and 3, but it's still, I would still give it a thumbs up. Like
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
in my
soft
top
thumbs up,
3
but it's
because-
definitely a thumbs up.
Because what would normally be an audience betrayal like Halloween Resurrection and Alien 3, even though they die, there's not just forgotten about. Like
Yeah.
Alice's arc is about like for each one that dies, she gets their ability, so that's a way of respecting their character still. Like
Yeah,
showing
like-
that they mattered still. So there's still
Right,
it still feels
exactly.
respectable. So So yeah, Nightmare 4, it's a thumbs up. It's in my top 3 actually. If I had to rank it.
I'd say thumb sideways. I've only seen it once. I remember thinking it was okay. Honestly, I think the only like memorable parts are when our what a suck face, and when her the girl, like her arms turn into like mantis or like ant arms or something. Like she turns into a bug.
Now, I
That's the only
actually
part.
want to know what you guys think. Because we all know that Dream Warriors had a good balance of jokey Freddy and scary Freddy. I actually think Part 4 has just as good a balance too.
I
Oh,
feel
yeah.
like with this movie, it was a bit more at odds with with itself. I feel like for the most part, the third movie is horror, but with a bit of comedy. This feels like it doesn't know if it wants to be more horror or more comedy, so it's a bit more at odds. But I still think it works.
Yeah, Freddy's still really good in this. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, I forgot. Freddy is resurrected by dog piss.
yeah, fun times.
Yeah,
But no.
not the best way, but it makes for a cool visual at least when his body's coming back together.
Yeah. So what would everybody? Oh, so Mark, what would you think?
I mean, I like part 4. It's not part 3, but I mean, it's still really good. I mean, you still have the characters in part 3, even though they're dead, they're still playing a role. So I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mind. I mean, I thought part 4 was pretty good. I still give it a thumb.
Thumbs
And
up.
plus,
Awesome.
it's worth noting for me that now that I've thought about it more after I rewatched them all recently, my head canon actually ends with Part 4. Because of the way they still send out the Dream Warriors at the end, even after they're dead. Yeah, you could end it here.
Yeah, even though it does have that cliffhanger with Freddy in the water, but even then, you know, Dream Child wasn't great. It was like the kills are fun. The
Mm-hmm.
rest, and it had like a decent story, but it was kind of boring for most of it. It's still not great, but I would say it was
Mm,
fine. I would give
yeah.
it a good
It's
sideways.
like I was very negative on it the last time I rewatched it, but the thing is, it has a good idea for a story, with Freddy trying to go after the unborn child and all that. And Dan's bike kill is very good, but Freddy is awful in this. The makeup effects just look unfinished, and he has a good one-liner here or there, like he usually does, and Robert Englund is always giving it his all. But this is where it just went more into comedy, and this is where I was starting to not feel scared of Freddy.
Yeah,
So I'll give it. It's not because thing is, I thought I was gonna give it a thumbs down, but I'll give it a thumbs sideways because it still feels somewhat
Yeah,
competent with the tone and all that. Whereas compared to what the next one does, so
yeah.
I'd say thumbs down. Dream Child is bad.
is it just me though, or is it something about Dan's kill that feels like it was cut down? Like maybe I'm
Possibly.
wrong.
The MPA was really hard on horror movies. But Mark, what do you think of Dream Child?
Dream Child, I just give it an eh. I thought it was all right. I mean,
Yeah,
they lean more into the comedy, and I still like Funny Freddy. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
what
It's not the next one though, so it gets credit for that.
that he actually talked, unlike Jason and Michael. But I mean, he was different. But I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, it's not as scary, and the plot is really kind of dumb. But
yeah.
yeah.
it's just kind of
But yeah, next is Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare.
Fuck this movie.
This movie sucks.
Um, I didn't hate it. I thought it was funny. I thought it was so bad it's good. I give it a sideways, just on the basis of how dumb it is, but I enjoyed my time with it.
There are only two things in here that I get a laugh out of. One is the map says we're fucked, and the
The
one
map
bit,
says we're fucked. Yeah, like, and then Roseanne and Tom Arnold just
and
showing
then
up out of nowhere. I'm like, that's
like,
just funny to
yeah.
me.
And even if it goes against the very idea of what Freddy's supposed to be, the fact they turn him into a cartoon in this, there is one bit that actually, honestly, does make me laugh. Where the kid can't hear, and you hear Freddy in the background going all, you know that
When
whole
he's
thing.
rubbing on the chalkboard. Like, what the fuck?
But you know what I mean? Like, just comedy like that, just
Like
it,
it's just
yeah. And
hilarious.
he's just going all
Like he's just like jumping around like an idiot. It's just so funny, you know.
like
They
it
made him
goes
a
against
cartoon.
the idea of what Freddy is supposed to be. But that is the only laugh I get in this movie. So
Yeah. All right. So with that, now we go on to New Nightmare, which is, despite being a meta sequel and not really being a thanks, Rob. Got the power glove. But
Hey guys, I'm starting to get tired, and I gotta work in the morning.
yeah,
Oh.
we're just gonna go through can you just go through the last few Nightmare movies, and then we only have 2 more, so just for that, and then then you can head off.
Yeah,
So
I'll just bring up my thoughts on the last two Nightmare movies.
yeah,
because again,
I'm
tired.
what are your thoughts on New Nightmare?
New Nightmare is a thumbs up. Even though he's not Freddy, that's still my favorite look of Freddy. I love the makeup of the entity. I think that glove is badass.
Yeah.
He's his movements are very Nosferatu. Always gotta show off my tattoo.
no,
The remake, that is a double thumbs down. That movie is fucking boring. Possibly one of, if not the worst horror remake. Yeah, fuck that movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna
And
hop
what would
off. I was trying to get sleepy.
franchise grading?
See you guys
See you
later.
later, Devin.
All right, Devin.
All right. So we still have a few more franchises left. But yeah,
But yeah,
New Nightmare. Excellent.
Yep. When
Yeah. New
like
Nightmare.
honestly, after going through the previous 2 movies and seeing how they were just degrading Freddy with all the comedy, and seeing how dark Freddy is in this film, like he's supposed to, when it comes out of the car, he's like, "Miss me?" It's like, "Oh fuck yeah, I missed you." Like,
Yeah.
but
Even though it's not technically Freddy, it still,
Yeah.
works.
yeah.
Has anybody outside of Devin, has anybody here seen the remake?
I have.
I have not.
Oh, by the way, it's thumbs up on New Nightmare. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
But,
yeah, I suspected that.
The remake is so complicated because it's not good, but there are things that I really like in this. In fact, this is actually a movie that I do want to rewatch every now and then because I think Jackie Earle Haley is so good as Freddy. And it's just, even if the script isn't the best and the writing is the best, I like watching him. His acting is on point. So
Oh, yeah.
he's far from the biggest issue with this film. But make him a pedophile, that's the big thing. You know. I'm gonna bring up something. I want to know what you guys would think of this. Because they try to set up this lame mystery of, oh, was he innocent or did he actually do this? It would take a lot of balls, but maybe it could work. What if that was actually, you actually changed it up and that's why he's going after them, is because he was innocent and they go that route? It'd be interesting. It'd be different, but it'd be interesting. Anything would be better than the freaking pedophile shit in this. Oh, Mark is muted.
Mark?
Sorry, that's why Jack doesn't want to see the remake, because he doesn't like that twist that Freddy was a pedophile in the remake. So I mean, that's why I haven't watched it really, because I refuse to watch it with Jack. I might watch it on my own someday.
I don't plan on ever watching it. It's dumb. I already made a how-to fix on it, despite the fact I haven't seen it, just on the basis of make it like he wants revenge because he was actually innocent. That could be interesting.
Yeah,
but
that's what I was saying. And the thing is, but there is some good stuff in this film. There's this cool concept they go through for the idea of micronaps, where they're not actually asleep, but they're slipping in between.
Micronap. Yeah, that was a really good idea. Again, it had some good ideas. It just fell flat. I can't judge it, but I assume you give it a thumbs down.
No, it's a thumb sideways actually, because like I said, there is I do actually want to rewatch this again every now and then, again because of Jackie Earle Haley's performance. So I honestly, I know it's probably not going to happen because of the reputation of the remake, but whatever they do with the franchise in the future, please bring Jackie Earle Haley back, because if you give him a better script and better writing and all that, he'd be an
To be fair, he
awesome.
doesn't even like Nightmare on Elm Street. When he was on set, he said, because I watched these guys, that one of them was on the set because he was a stand-in for Kyle Gallner, and he was like, yeah, he's apparently Jackie Earle Haley fucking hates the original Nightmare. So he's like, yeah, I watched that movie in my hotel room last night. It fucking sucked. And so it's like, I don't think he'd want to come back to this
Well,
franchise.
still though, it's just like because he was so good in this movie, it's just yeah.
But
But
anyway,
yeah, it's just thumb sideways for the remake.
how would you rank this franchise?
Oh,
I would give it an A minus. Like genuinely, I would give it an A minus.
yeah, solid.
Because
Yeah,
like
and
because honestly, to me, the outside of the remake, there's no bad movie. I understand 6 exists for me. It's so bad it's good. I get that it's bad for a lot of other people, but for me, the good far outweighs the bad on like Halloween. So I would give it an A minus.
yeah, an
Would-
A minus for me too. It's like I said, Freddy is another one of my Mount Rushmores for horror. So
All right, Mark, what would you give it? Muted.
I'd give it a B plus. You know, I think you got 3 solid A's, A pluses with the original part 3, New Nightmare. You have part 4 is good. You know, 5 and 6 are they're okay. You know, they're all right. 2 is fine. 2 is fine. But I think probably average out to about a B, maybe B plus.
Let's go for would you be able to give it some leeway with an A minus or no?
That's fine. We can average it out to an A minus. Yeah.
yeah,
All right, cool. So we have a couple more. I know we're kind of reaching the end here, but we have 3 more, and don't worry, we'll go through them really quickly. So try to just give scores in a brief sentence, as I said before.
Sure.
The next one is Saw. Now I have only seen the first one.
Same here.
So we'll all talk about the first one, and Zach, just try to be quick. That's all I ask.
mhm, yeah.
So with this, you have Saw. I was genuinely surprised with how much I liked it.
Yeah.
Major thumbs up. That was genuinely a really good movie. Like
Mhm.
I didn't expect anything, but it was really good. It was really good. Yeah, Carrie Elways' accent goes in and out. Lee Wannell's acting isn't the best, but it's not bad either. But it's genuinely a damn good movie.
Oh yeah,
Right.
like the total thumbs up for, and just the concept is genius too, where he's testing these people for their will to live and all that stuff. So, but yeah, but then going into the sequels, 2 I really like. For I think it actually has a better twist ending than the first one. Then excuse me, I couldn't mute. Excuse me. Saw 3 is my favorite. I like that the
Sorry,
central.
how would you give Saw 2? Sorry.
Oh, Saw 2 is a thumbs up. I think it has a better twist ending than the first one, but I still think the first one is a better movie. Saw 3 is, well, now it's my second favorite one, but I think it has the best story because it's about a father who lost his son, and all the people involved with the death of his son are the one in the traps. So he's being tested on his will on if he can forgive these people and help them out of the traps. And so the film has a genuine theme of forgiveness or revenge. That's cool. Saw 4, it's my least favorite one, while still not being bad. The main character is a cop who's literally being tested because he's just doing his job. Like, what? It's like the lamest game in the whole franchise. Saw 5 is just this well, it's a sort of interesting cat and mouse kind of thing going on with the guy that's the successor of Jigsaw versus a cop that's kind of on his tail. But it has a pretty mean spirited ending. Saw 6 I really like. It tackles and has a commentary on freaking the healthcare and how they screw people over and all that. So that's kind of who the main character is, and it's a good movie. The best we've had since Saw 3. Saw 7 I like, even though it's clearly the ideas for 2 movies meshed into one. And I like that they bring Carrie Elways back as spoilers. I don't want to spoil them for you.
No, I knew that Carrie always came back. That he was an apprentice of.
Yeah. Yeah. So I love the shit out of that. And Saw 7, the central premise being that a guy that lies about being a survivor of Jigsaw, and then he's actually put into a game because of that. That's a great concept for a Saw movie. So, yeah, again, it's clearly
what would your ratings be of 4, 5, 6, and 7 though?
4 and 5 are a mid thumb, 6 is a thumbs up, and 7 is a generous thumbs up, even if it's kind of messy. Jigsaw is I don't get the hype for that one.
Wait, what came first, Jigsaw or Spiral?
Jigsaw. That was 2017.
Okay.
But yeah, Jigsaw, I don't get the hype for. Like, none of these movies I think are bad, but excuse me. But it's just a ripoff of Saw 2 with how it does the same idea of playing with time. Like, you think that a certain thing is going on at the same time as another thing, but it really isn't. That's just Saw 2 again. And the freaking reveal at the end, I think, is the lamest reveal out of all the Jigsaw apprentices. So it's Then we have Spiral. I really like Spiral. I didn't think I was going to, but I did. Like, it plays like classic Saw, even though it's a copycat. And it's able to have strong commentary about police brutality and corruption without beating you over the head with it. It's done very subtly. So that's one of the ones that I would recommend most is Spiral. Strong thumbs up. And plus, you can tell that the only reason that they wanted Samuel Jackson in there is so they could have the line, "You want to play games, motherfucker?" But yeah. Then we have Saw X, which, shit, it's, if you were, like, shit, it is my favorite one. Like, story-wise, I think Saw 3 is my favorite story, but Saw X is the best one. They're able to do the impossible and really to get you genuinely care for and sympathize with John Kramer. They don't lose sight of the fact that, he does what he does, but they still show his plight through the lens of a man who's desperate to live. And he gets scammed by these people who say they can cure him with his brain cancer, so he goes after these people. It's very satisfying. So, yeah. Saw X is 2 thumbs up, easily the best one. So
now, how would you rank the franchise? Unfortunately, me and Mark can't really do it because Devin has seen more, and unfortunately, he can't be. He had to go to bed, so he would have given more insight. But let's just try to give you some leeway.
Even
how would you rate it?
Even with some of the shortcomings of like 4 and 5, I would give Saw a solid A as a franchise.
Okay.
So
I don't know how that's gonna rank with the other franchises since you're the only one that can. Yes, but Rob, you're not here, so you can't do anything. So, okay, so let's go back to ones we've all seen with Scream, another favorite of yours. So keep it in your pants, Zach. So because we're gonna try and keep this under 3 hours. So that sounds like a fucking you problem, Rob.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm gonna get a drink real quick. I'll be right back.
Haha.
But yeah, love Scream.
All right. Let's see how this one goes. I've seen all of them except for 6. What is it?
Just run through them real quick, I say.
Well, for me, it's hard to gauge them because I have yet to see. I have yet to rewatch Scream 1 and 3. However, I'm gonna try and give them some sort of respectability.
Yeah.
In terms of that. So Scream 1, very good movie. Even though I didn't like it the first time around, it really grew on me, especially after Scream 5. Scream I really liked. Scream 2 I did actually rewatch, as you guys know, because of my Monster Madness. Really enjoyed that one. Not amazing, but it's still really good. Scream 3 I don't hate as much as other people do, but it's a perfectly fine film. Scream 4 is the best sequel, arguably the best film out of all of them, and Scream 5 can go suck a turd. That one sucks. So I would give them all pluses. Scream 3 gets a sideways, and Scream 5 gets shit. So yeah.
All right,
All
but
right. Let's have Mark go first so he
Yeah.
can speed through all of them.
yeah.
One thumbs up, big thumbs up. Saw it in the theater, loved it. Great film. You know, love how it ripped on the horror genre. A lot of fun. 2, yeah, I really honestly just kind of don't care about 2. Really, you know, it's just kind of okay at best. And the more I think about it, the more it's like, not really. 3 I actually kind of thought was okay. I'm gonna give 3 a sideways. 3 was okay. I didn't think it was terrible. I thought it was good. It's the only one to have only one killer. Gasp, you know. Yeah, I know, right? And you know, 4, like you said, 4 is the best sequel in out of all of them, easily. 4 is fantastic. Scream 5, I'm gonna give thumbs up. I gave it a bare thumbs up before then. I'm gonna give it a thumb sideways. Scream 5 and Screevy, didn't care for it. The ending kind of ruined it for me. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, Scream is my second favorite horror franchise of all time. The first one, I love it. It has great characters and meta commentary. It saved the genre at a time when it was dead and rotting. Scream 2 is my least favorite one, but I still like it a lot. It has a very heartfelt emotional arc for Sydney with her trust issues and the trauma of the previous film, so that's great.
Mhm.
Scream 3, I like more than 2. I do not mind the idea of Roman not just being the only killer, but the one masterminding everything from 1. I thought that was pretty cool. They handled it well. Scream 4 is actually my favorite of the series, period. It was very ahead of its time with its commentary on social media and, of course,
Fame,
and fame and
how far like young generations would go for fame.
like how the one chick says, I don't. It's like you just gotta have fucked up shit happen to you. You don't need to be. You don't need friends. But yeah, Scream 4 is my favorite one. Of course, you have the commentary and the remake, so that was cool. Scream 5, I loved it. I feel like they did a great job at honoring Wes Craven's legacy, and I stand by it being the most emotional film of the series. Like it or hate it, when Dewey dies, it is heartbreaking, and yeah, I actually shed a tear in the theater. I think Dewey's at his best in this film. And then of course the new characters are really good, and I don't mind the whole being the daughter of Billy, so that's fine. Scream 6 would be better than 5 if not of how they handled Gail Weathers in her first scene. But the rest of the film otherwise kicks major ass. The New York setting is cool, Ghostface is brutal, the kills are brutal, and I like the ending enough, even if it repeats Scream 2, because I'm at least intimidated by these killers, at least. So it does well for me. So thumbs up for all of them. I forgot to say that.
Thumbs up for all of them. Okay.
Yep, thumbs up for all of them. So
All right, cool. So, all right. So, how would you rank this franchise? I would probably rank it a solid B plus. I think a B plus would be good because I think it does. Even though I really don't like Scream 5, I think the previous 4 films are good in their own ways. So yeah, I would say a good solid B plus.
yeah, it's
How
a
would you guys go?
it's probably an A plus for me because even with Halloween being my favorite horror franchise, Scream is easily the most consistent in quality.
Mm.
I mean, so I did not hate a single one of these films at all. So for the fact that I liked every single one, I guess that would lead to an A plus.
Okay, Mark, what did you think? You're muted.
For me, honestly, I'm going to say a C because there are only two films that I consider legit great: the first one and the fourth one. You got two that are okay, the third one and the fifth one, and yet two I just really don't like: the second one and the sixth one. So
Okay, so a solid C. So
yeah,
so we'll try to talk about that a bit. Now if I were to base, so I would say B plus, he would say A plus, you would say C.
yeah.
I would say the best way I could do it is probably like just straight in the middle would probably be a B if I can, try to give some leeway to everybody. That's what I'm trying to do, like give some
Yeah.
leeway to
Yeah.
everybody. So I
I'm
think
fine
a
with the B.
solid B.
Because I get
Um,
that not everyone sees every single film as good, so that's fine.
Right. So
I
so
mean,
finally we get to the final one. Unfortunately, Devin couldn't be a part of this one because this is one of his favorite horror movies. But the final franchise of the night. Try to get through this as quick as we can.
Yeah.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Mm.
So, I think we can all universally agree the first one, excellent, excellent movie.
It's good. It's good.
Ooh.
Slight thumbs up. I like Leatherface. I like the gritty look of it and the tone and the family, that the cannibal family is interesting. I just hate the central characters. I mean,
I didn't hate them. I thought they were.
I guess I can't say I hated all of them. It's just I hate Sally. I dislike Sally with a passion.
Hmm.
She is pathetic. The only reason she gets away is because she was lucky enough to have that big truck get in the way, and once she was able to get away in the other truck, she would be fucking dead otherwise. She was just a whiny bitch. I hate Sally. Oh god, I hate Sally. She's one of the worst final girls ever. So,
Interesting.
but like I said, everything else is good about it. The cannibal family and Leatherface, so that's all good. So it is still a thumbs up, despite a bad main character.
Okay. So then we get to Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. I really love this one. It's so fun. You have Dennis Hopper acting like a lunatic. Caroline Williams is a great final girl who should have been the final girl of the new one. And it's not amazing by any means, but just for respectability, I give it a thumbs up.
Yeah.
It's
Lick my plate, you dog dick.
like shit like that. That's just so fun.
Like it is like honestly. Now, when I say that I like it more than the original, I don't mean that it's like as in it's a great sequel, masterpiece sequel, like that kind of thing. It's just
right.
I just enjoy watching it more than the original. Like, I try not to disrespect the legacy of the original, but I just think this one's the most fun of the entire franchise. So
that's understandable.
Yeah. So it is a thumbs up. Even though it's a complete tonal whiplash of the first film, it's like, I don't mind so long as the movie's good anyway.
Okay. So Mark, what would you think about the sequel? What do you think about
still have not seen it. I know.
Really?
I know it because I keep meaning to watch it because I mean you guys.
Okay, so have you not seen any sequel of outside of 2022?
Honestly, no. I haven't seen any of them, and that was so bad. I was like, oh god, I just never want to see any of them. The only one I do want to see is part 2, honestly, because you guys.
I think you'll have a lot of fun with 2. It has a bad reputation for some reason, and I've never gotten it. I've always had fun with this movie.
All right.
In my top 3.
So
But
Has anybody seen any other Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie?
I like part 3 because you got Viggo Mortensen in it, and you still have an intimidating Leatherface. The family overall is not as interesting as the Cannibal Family, the original, but they're still fun enough. Like, it's not like a fun movie, but it's a good one. So I would say thumbs up on it. It's worth a watch.
Mhm.
The fourth one though, it can eat a dick. Thumbs down. Like, they make Leatherface a pussy in this.
Essentially,
Like,
from what I know.
like like one of the victims, the what's your name, literally says, "You sit the fuck down and you shut the hell up." Like, and plus you have him just going on and freaking dressed in this weird cross-dressing shit. I'm not saying cross-dressers are weird. That's not what I'm saying. Like, I'll just put it out there, but it's just Leatherface is fucking. Oh, he's so demasculated in this, or emasculated, but you get what I mean.
Yeah. Have you seen the remake or the prequel to the remake?
Oh, I love the remake. That's my favorite one. I think it's better than the original. Because the thing is, I actually like these characters. I like the main character. I mean, yeah, I
Also,
like
it's got
Leatherface.
Arlie Ermy.
Oh yeah, too. Yeah, like and yeah, I like Leatherface in the original. He's scary, but I'm terrified of him in this. Like, I am. This is another one of the scariest films I've ever seen. So, yeah, 2 thumbs up for the remake. Like, just it's better setting, better tone, better set of characters overall, and yeah.
What about the prequel?
I think it's serviceable as a prequel. I mean, yeah, you could say we didn't need one, but the way that it's still structured with the question it answers and how it answers those questions, yeah, I like this. It's it's right there with the original. I mean, it's right there with the remake. Like, I like it almost as much. So it's a thumbs
Okay.
up.
Okay. Have you seen 3D or Leatherface?
I hated 3D. Like, 3D started off good with how it was following right off of the original, but then the rest of the movie happened. So yeah, thumbs down. Even if the opening is really good, Leatherface is actually not that bad. Like, I like the different approach. It's more of a road trip movie, and it's pretty brutal. Although the thing that the big negative of it is that they try to set up as a mystery as who of these escaped mental patients, which of them is going to become Leatherface, and they're going to reveal it by the end. I'm like, it's an unnecessary mystery. Like, just say, just just show right off the bat. So
Yeah,
that
especially
part,
when you have that red herring of the guy who should be Leatherface but isn't.
yeah, like the
So it's like,
big burly guy you've probably seen. Like, they make it look like he's going to be, but no, the skinny guy who loses his freaking jaw at the end is Leatherface. I'm like, what? Like,
sorry, Rob.
so yeah. I mean, I'll go, but I'd still go thumb sideways with Leatherface. It's one of the better ones.
And then I think we can all mutually agree 2022 sucks
Fuck
major
this
fucking
movie.
turds.
Fuck that movie.
If they found a way to somehow make the David Gordon Green trilogy worse, and that's what they did with it. Congrats, guys. It's arguably the worst horror film I've ever seen, period. So, how would you rate this franchise? And Zach, since you're the only one who's seen most of them, so
Like,
how would you do it?
oh, I'm sorry, what were we saying? I checked out of it.
We're grading the franchise.
Oh, what were we saying? Sorry. Oh,
Grading it. How would you grade the franchise?
low. Yeah, low B. I don't know. Yeah, low B. Yeah.
I'll say B minus. Let's go with B minus.
Yeah.
All right, so that's all of our franchises, and then real quick, we're gonna rate each and every one of them. So it looks like the worst of the worst is Jaws. Jaws is the worst one. I think we can all agree. The first one's amazing, but the rest of the sequels don't even come close to matching up.
Yeah.
Then, unfortunately, again, despite a very great first film, Halloween. Halloween is the second lowest at a C. It's
Hmm.
just, yeah, it does have 1, 3, 4, and 2018, and maybe 2 to some people. But, and again, to Zach, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. But that's kind of it. Unfortunately, Halloween has to be towards the end. Now we get to our first tie in terms of letter grades. Well, we gave a C plus to both Friday the 13th and The Exorcist. What would you say is the better franchise? Not talking about films, the better franchise.
Probably Friday the 13th.
I'd probably go with Friday the 13th as well.
Friday the 13th has more consistent quality.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Exorcist 3 is amazing, and the first one is a classic, but the rest of it is
highs that The Exorcist does, but it's, it knows what it is. It's just fun. It doesn't hit the lows either. It doesn't. Dear God, nothing in there is.
Yeah.
Well, it may be part 9. It's as bad as.
And plus, you could say that just The Exorcist alone, the first film, is better than a majority of all the Friday the 13th films.
Than all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
then
yeah.
yeah, so it's pretty much that. So it's Exorcist, then Friday, then Texas Chainsaw with a B minus. Kind of weird. I didn't think Texas Chainsaw would be better than Friday the 13th, but
Or
Yeah.
The Exorcist.
we can't rate it, unfortunately. So here we are.
Yeah.
But with that, now we get to another tie between Romero Dead movies and Scream. For me, the Dead movies, just the first 3 are so supremely excellent that it doesn't even come close to even Scream's best movie. Sorry, Zach, but
No, it's okay. It's all right. But yeah, this one is tough because if anything else besides Chucky were to come close to my horror Mount Rushmore, it would be the zombies, the Romero films. That would come close too. But I gotta go with Scream because, like I said, it's second to Halloween as one of my favorite horror franchises. So,
right,
but all the love in the world to the Romero films, like it's classic,
easily.
best zombie stuff ever.
So then we get to another tie with Alien and Conjuring. Alien. I think we can all
Alien.
mutually agree.
Yeah.
Alien. Just based on the first 2 movies alone.
Yeah.
Christ, yeah. The Conjuring is just kind of fun schlock, whereas Alien
Is Alien,
Yeah,
just
like
the first film
Alien is
alone.
just like the high class pristine horror.
Then we get to Nightmare on Elm Street, as with our A minus. Then Saw, which I probably would disagree with, but I can't judge since I have not seen them. And it looks like our reigning champion is, in fact, unsurprisingly, The Evil Dead, ladies and gents. Hail to the motherfucking king.
Hail to the king, baby.
Nice.
So from worst to best, it goes Jaws, then Halloween, then Exorcist, then Friday the 13th, then Texas Chainsaw Massacre, then Scream, then the Romero Dead films, then Conjuring, then Alien, then A Nightmare on Elm Street, then Saw, and then the reigning champion is The Evil Dead. Despite a very bad remake, the rest of the movies are so fun or excellent or all together that The Evil Dead absolutely reigns supreme. So that was our ranking of all these different franchises. Maybe as time goes on, we can rank other franchises up against each other when we see more of them, or we could just rank an entire franchise in and of itself, like as Mark mentioned backstage, the Universal Monster films, or even the Godzilla films, if we eventually watch all of those. But this was a very long stream. Thank you, Zach. But, just kidding. But we had a lot of fun rating these franchises. Went a little bit longer than I would have hoped for, but I still had a really fun time. So thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. And thank you, Devin, for when you ever rewatch this. But yeah, this was a ton of fun. This was a great post Monster Madness. I didn't create an outro, so
And don't
we'll see
worry,
you later,
baby.
guys. See you
Don't
for
worry.
next week for another post Monster Madness video.
Don't
See you
worry,
later.
babies. Papa loves you.
Oh, and these guys' stuff will be in the description, so click on them if you want more content. And subscribe
Yeah.
to the Cool Kids channel.
Alrighty.
Later.